From West Palm Beach, Florida, we welcome you to the ballpark of the Palm Beaches on the final Sunday of March as the Houston Astros wrap up their spring training series against the Washington Nationals with a game number 7 against the team they share the complex with. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. April not too far away, which means opening day not too far away. And it also means the wrap-up to a series with these guys. It seems like you've played a lot this spring.
Yeah, we got to know the Washington Nationals really well. Maybe too much yesterday with all the hit-by pitches going on. But, yeah, it's the final game of this interdivision rivalry here in the Grapefruit League.
When you talk about the pitching today for the Astros, Joe Musgrove goes to the mound. He's been impressive.
He has been impressive, and he's earned the right. He finished real well last year, pitching in September, getting 10 starts for the Houston Astros. We saw him pitch extremely well. We saw him struggle a little bit, and I think we learned a lot about Joe Musgrove last year with his fastball, curveball. Does have the changeup and slider, but when he struggled, he bounced back nicely, and that's one of the things you want to see with these young guys. He's had a great spring and earned his way into that 4th spot.
Always around the zone, and he will pitch, as Jeff said, in that 4th spot in the opening series against the Seattle Mariners at Minute Maid Park. We're ready for baseball on this Sunday. It's the Astros and the Nationals from the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Julia Morales coming up next. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Whataburger. Whataburger's Buffalo Ranch Chicken Strip Sandwich has returned, but only for a limited time. And by the Houston Auto Show. Don't miss the world's top cars only at the Houston Auto Show, April 5th through the 9th at NRG Center. Another sunny day here in the Palm Beach County area, West Palm Beach, Florida, the exact location. Wind in again from right. Not a good day to be a left-handed hitter as the Astros get ready for the Washington Nationals for the final time this spring, with Joe Musgrove getting the start for the Astros. Musgrove will be making his 6th start of the spring, and this will be his most extended outing, as he has gone against the New York Mets 3 times, the Washington Nationals a previous time on the 15th of the month, and the Cardinals on the 20th. And Jeff, as we get ready for baseball, this will be our final spring training day game of our 10 broadcast. We'll have a night game tomorrow night and wrap up our Florida portion of the spring. Then we'll head into Minute Maid Park for the first of 2 with the Cubs. So we are getting close. You can feel it. Trucks, they're moving equipment out there, loading stuff on the trucks. You're feeling like the wrap-up has begun.
Yeah, you can literally see Jim Crane's truck, the big rig, out behind the center field wall. And I was out earlier today talking to a couple of the minor league coaches, namely Adam Everett and Morgan Ensberg. And you could see the equipment managers and guys kind of, wrapping things up, putting them on pallets, putting them on that big rig to move those things back to Houston. But it is high time for these guys to get out of this complex. I know they are tired of playing the Washington Nationals, and it always puts a wrinkle in it when you're the home team yesterday, yet you're at the same complex. You're a visiting team, so we've got to readjust everything. It's a lot of fun. It's been a great spring training. These guys are good, but they are more than ready to get out of this place and go to Houston.
We're going to hear from Jeff Luhnow in the second inning, and there are basically 2 of the 25 roster spots still up for grabs, Plummer, although Brad Peacock looks like he has a pretty good lead on the 1.
Yeah, the numbers are okay for Brad Peacock. He does have major league experience, and he has good stuff. It's just a matter of, can he get that to translate in the big leagues? But he might be on the roster just by default because of the service time, but he's also out of options. So he might be a guy that is forced onto the roster with McHugh possibly not starting the season with the Houston Astros. So that leaves one more spot for who we thought was Yandel Gustave and James Hoyt. But in talking with A.J. Hinch over the last couple days, he has mentioned the name Dion Diaz, Colombian, played for the WBC Colombia team, pitched extremely well in those outings. He does have service time with the Cincinnati Reds, but from what we've seen, we really like that arm, and A.J. is one of those guys that all of a sudden pops Diaz onto that radar that might have an opportunity, if not breaking camp, maybe later in the season.
He is not allowed to run in either the WBC or the Grapefruit League, and A.J. made the point of saying all those guys are going to pitch for us at some point this season.
Yeah, well, we know that big league rosters are fluid. Guys get hurt, guys pitch an extended amount of time, maybe even need a little bit of rest. You need that kind of depth, and that's another thing we can talk to Jeff Luhnow about.
Let's take a look at the Houston Astros lineup against the lefty for the Washington Nationals today, Gio Gonzalez. George Springer will lead things off. He has the most at-bats for the Astros this spring. Alex Bregman gets a day at DH. Jose Altuve is the second baseman. Carlos Correa, his first start since coming back from the WBC. Yuli Gurriel at first base. Evan Gattis will be behind the plate for Joe Musgrove. Josh Reddick gets a start in left field today. Marwin Gonzalez at third, and Jake Marisnick is the center fielder.
Left-hander Gio Gonzalez going for the Washington Nationals. Good lefty to have in that rotation. Last year, not spectacular with that 500 record at 11-11, but if you look at his career numbers, he has won 102 games. He's only lost 77 in that career ERA right at 3.73. So a nice left-hander looking to have a bounce-back season this year with the Nationals. Playing behind Gio Gonzalez, you're going to see big league outfield for Dusty Baker and his Nationals. Jason Worth, Adam Eaton, Bryce Harper across the outfield. Anthony Rendon, Rice product at third base. Trey Turner getting back in the infield at shortstop. Daniel Murphy and Ryan Zimmerman on the right. Gio Gonzalez is going to be working with Jose Lobaton this afternoon.
So the Astros and the Nationals wrap things up today with their spring training season series. They will then head to a little bit of a home and home with the Marlins at the end of the spring after the night game with the Cardinals tomorrow, and then that will be it. The team will play its final game Wednesday down in the Sunshine State before heading back to Houston on a flight. And they will be playing Thursday and Friday at the revamped Minute Maid Park. Nationals winning yesterday's contest 4-1, a game in which the Astros were the home team. Today the Astros bat first, even though they're basically at home. And George Springer will see the first pitch for a called strike, 0-1. Springer with those 57 at-bats mentioned the most ABs of anybody in the Astros spring training. He's hitting .246 with a home run and 5 runs batted in. Springer has also stolen 3 bases. These Springer's numbers on the spring. First 4 guys in the lineup today are what are anticipated come opening day on April 3rd against the Mariners. The number 5 spot today is Yuli Gurriel's, but that might be somebody else, quite possibly Carlos Beltran, when things get going for real. Gonzalez, 31-year-old left-hander, has made 31 or more starts in 6 of the last 7 years. He will take the ball every 5 days.
I think this lineup for AJ is pretty interesting because with the left-hander on there, you're seeing Evan Gattis in there.
Springer went around. That's a strikeout. Gonzalez picks up a strikeout in his first batter he faces.
A little more right-hand dominant lineup for AJ Hinch with some of the moving parts that he can get in there against lefties. Guilty as charged.
Gonzalez will throw both the 4-seam and 2-seam fastball to go along with a curveball and changeup. Likes that curveball a lot when he gets to 2 strikes. Here's Alex Bregman getting a DH day. Bregman came back from the WBC with a total of 4 at-bats during that tournament. Is now starting for his 3rd consecutive day, but also getting a day off from the field. And AJ hoping to get him as many at-bats as possible today, more than likely playing deep into the game, possibly all 9. Hold the string, 2 balls and a strike. Plummer mentioned Gonzalez looking for a bounce back, a 4.57 ERA last year with his highest ERA in the last 7 years. And the numbers on Gonzalez don't really spell out why he struggles so much until you dig a little deeper and see that runners in scoring position was a big issue for him last year. Ground ball to the shortstop Turner. And the national shortstop makes the play for the 2nd out. It's very similar, Jeff, to the numbers we broke down the other day with Dallas Keuchel, in that runners in scoring position, batting average, OPS much higher for Gio Gonzalez last year than when nobody was on base.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Some of these guys that are really good working off the edges somehow find the middle part of the plate, and all of a sudden everybody starts barreling it up. Because when you're looking nasty on a guy trying to compete against that and he makes a mistake in the zone, your body almost just reacts spontaneously to crush pitches like that. But when those runners get on base, and that's what we've seen with Dallas Keuchel here in spring, is that he's very good because he has the ability to get the ground ball to get out of the inning.
Jose Altuve's first at bat takes a pitch away, 1-0. Altuve batting 179 this spring, but has picked it up a little bit in the last few days after some time in the WBC. Altuve batted 259 for Team Venezuela, 7 for 27 with an RBI. Had the exact same number of at-bats in the WBC as the number on his uniform. 1-1 pitch is a high strike, 1-2. Brennan Miller, rookie umpire, calling balls and strikes today. Mike Estabrook, David Rackley, Shane Livensparger, the umpires today. Breaking ball in the dirt, it's 2-2. Off day today for Carlos Beltran. Off day today for Brian McCann. I mentioned Alex Bregman getting a day off from the field. And we see the defensive alignment. We'll see it in the next half inning that A.J. Hinch told us about, that he may employ at times this year, with Reddick in left and Springer in right and Marisnick in center. That's your A defense.
Yeah, he kind of hinted at the fact that might be the defensive replacement, so to speak, with Jake Marisnick coming in the ball game and shifting the George Springer to right field and Josh Reddick over to left if they have a lead late in ball games to back up the pitching staff.
3-2 the count to Altuve.
But I'm kind of curious. We were talking about matchups with the left-hander on the mound. It might be a situation where Gaddis goes in behind the plate. Beltran can go out there to left field, maybe bat right-handed and play left field out there. Marwin Gonzalez, who swings a right-handed bat every so often, can get in there too. But it's interesting to see Josh Reddick in that lineup against Gio Gonzalez, because maybe A.J. Hinch wants to see a little bit more from Josh on left.
He does. He said he's hoping to get Josh a couple of starts this week with lefties scheduled to go against the Astros. And he almost wishes he had put Reddick a little higher in the lineup so he could get an extra at bat or two while Gio is in there. Today batting in the number 7 spot. Altuve battling with a 3-2 count. And that's inside ball 4. Good plate appearance for the Astros second baseman. He is a 2-out base runner. Both teams start the day 12-13 on the spring. The Nationals have added 4 ties to that record. The Astros have 2 ties. Yes, there are tie baseball games in spring training. Usually A.J. Hinch does not like to go beyond 10 innings. He'll have an extra arm or two just in case, but the game's tied after 9 or 10. Usually both managers agree to call it off. Here's Carlos Correa, first at bat for the Astros since the World Baseball Classic. And time called as Gonzalez about to deliver.
Yeah, the mentality behind managers not going extra innings is you don't want to burn arms on a record that's not going to count. There's plenty more games for them to get their work in.
Correa was a .333 hitter for Team Puerto Rico. .750 slugging percentage, 9 runs batted in. Chopper towards third. Rendon will come in on 2 big hops, sidearm across, and that'll do it for the Astros in inning number 1. We'll have the bottom half of the first inning right around the corner.
Bottom of the first, and Joe Musgrove is on the mound today. There's a couple of first-timers that will be on the opening day roster. Musgrove will be one of them after making his debut midway through last season. He was told in a conversation with A.J. Hinch about a week ago that he would break with this team out of camp, and he will also start the 4th game of the season. That's against the Mariners at Minute Maid Park. But that conversation happened a week ago. It was kept under wraps, obviously, but this is a good chance for all the stress of making the team, not making the team, to be lifted off of his shoulders, and for him to work on a couple of things in these next few starts, these next final starts before things get going for the regular season. A couple of things that I had heard, balance point being one of them, keeping that delivery pretty simple, and the curveball, trying to throw it to righties when he can. Different look than the slider. Blummer, I know you have a couple of keys for Musgrove today.
Good stuff, Julia, and very good news for Joe Musgrove. He's earned it, and some of the keys of the game, our Toyota keys to the game for Joe Musgrove, are going to be control the zone. I'd like to see him really start pounding the strike zone with all of his pitches. Julia hinted at the curveball, really start to get the command of that curveball, but also throw that changeup too. These guys are experimenting with those 3rd, 4th pitches in their repertoire, which would be nice. And obviously that bottom one means a lot because he is now in that rotation, stretch things out, and get through about 5 or 6 innings if he can with that pitch count.
Here's Trey Turner to lead things off for the Nationals. Musgrove misses with the first pitch. Musgrove, one of 2 Astros pitchers that has gone as deep as 5 innings this spring. Went 5 innings in his last start. Very efficient in his pitch count against the Cardinals. 59 pitches in 5 innings. Called strike. Trey Turner, the leadoff hitter, coming off a fantastic rookie season for the Nationals. Now the shortstop for Dusty Baker. Take a look at the Nationals lineup. Basically the same lineup as yesterday, the exception being Zimmerman and Eaton have flip-flop spots in 6 and 7, and Jose Lobaton in there behind the plate instead of Matt Wieters, and of course a different pitcher. Line drive, that will be a fair ball headed towards the left field corner. Trey Turner with great speed easily into second base.
Kid's got a future. Smooth, easy swing, 3-1 count. Joe did a good job of locating in a 2-0 count. This not so much. Fastball leaked back out over the middle of the plate. And again, command in the zone. You don't want to throw too good a strike for the hitter to hit. Trey Turner got himself one and turned on it and easily glided into second base.
If that ball's fumbled at all, he gets to third.
No doubt. Kid can run.
33 stolen bases in less than half a season last year for Turner. Correa pinching him at second base to make sure he doesn't have a big lead. First pitch to Daniel Murphy's away. There you see Carlos Correa. When the pitch is delivered, he will be cheating in towards that bag.
Good changeup. And let's look back at what Trey Turner does on the base paths. Just look at how fluid and easy this motion is. There's not too many guys around the big leagues that we would like to just enjoy and watch run. Trey Turner is one of those guys. Makes it look easy.
Took that wide turn at first, kind of setting himself up to head to third.
That's exactly right.
Murphy frustrated himself as he fouls one back. Daniel Murphy always shows you what he's working on at the plate. You can always tell whether it's a bad angle or not happy with his weight distribution. He's always in between swings trying to tinker with something.
Yeah, these hyper-technical hitters these days. He's definitely one of them, and he steps out of the box. If he misses a pitch, he's talking to himself, trying to get him back. It's been a relatively rough spring / WBC for him.
Foul the other way. He was thrilled to get a couple of hits yesterday because it has been a struggle. He didn't get many at-bats in the WBC, 6 total. Ian Kinsler had most of the work at second base for Team USA. And he really wasn't locked in going into the World Baseball Classic, and he would be the first to tell you that. Right now, he wouldn't mind moving the runner to third with Bryce Harper due up. Runner on second and nobody out. In the air to right field, the wind is blowing in from right. Springer is there to make the catch. Murphy does move the runner to third on the fly ball. And there's one out. You're going to have to hit it about 450 today. Man, maybe 420 to get it out to right. Because it's probably going to knock any fly balls down at least 50 feet.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to hit that punch cut fade to get it out of here.
Right into the wind.
Yeah.
Let it drop over into the bullpen.
Wow. Yeah, that wind is howling again today.
Bryce Harper, the batter. He has 6 home runs this spring, second most in the Grapefruit League, behind only Greg Bird, having quite a spring for the New York Yankees. You don't seem to be bothered by the wind.
Oh,
no, I mean we need to have a conversation about that.
Real life right here.
Yeah, that's a daily basis for Julia. I do my best off camera, but you see what happens.
Why is your hair not affected by the wind?
It's a helmet. I set it on the nightstand every night.
How is that even possible?
It's amazing. Look at how good that is.
Is it amazing?
Yeah.
Is that the word we're using?
Oh, it truly is. I appreciate the truck for putting that together. How'd they get that off my phone?
Real.
Struggle is real. Yesterday, one of your first keys to the game was gel.
Yes, sometimes you got to go with a little bit heavier product. Kids are learning these days, you know.
Well, spring training will test you.
Yeah.
That will get you ready for your.
You know, we have keys to the game for the players. There's also keys to the game for us. Julia is just a little behind the curve. She'll work on it.
So I not only need to borrow makeup from you, but I need to borrow your hair products.
Yes.
Man, who knew I could learn so much about beauty?
This ball is hit well to center field. Again, the wind will hold this up. Jake Marisnick makes the play. He won't even bother to try and make a play at home because Trey Turner trots in. And the Nationals score the first run of the day on the sac fly by Bryce Harper.
Fundamental baseball by the Washington Nationals. Get him on, get him over, get him in.
So yesterday you were on Julie about cardio. Today you're on her about hair care products.
No, I'm a little tough. She has not been happy with me lately. I mean, rightfully so. I can be a little tough at times, but
look, spring training can be long for everybody.
Yeah, and if you catch her in between meals, you don't know what's going to happen.
I get cranky. This is true. I do my best to take care of it. I'm always eating a snack.
But isn't that the beauty? I mean, pardon the pun, but we turn into a family. We turn into a clubhouse. We turn into a team where we're kind of giving each other jabs here and there. She does a good job of dealing with us, but she also fires some shots back every once in a while. Don't kid yourself.
I thought for us, this is great that we've had 10 spring training telecasts together.
Yes,
Seriously.
I know.
It gets us in our rhythm and get to know each other a little bit better. How many snacks does Julia take down there during a game, Julia?
I've got a few.
Anthony Rendon's the batter. It's 2-1.
Well, spring's a little bit tougher, too, because you don't have access to a full stadium of...
Right. I was about to say that, yeah. So I've got to prepare. I've got candy. I've got things that could be considered lunch. I've got trail mix.
You're good.
You name it, I got it.
Nice. Rendon with a count of 3-1. Julia Morales prepared with many food items down in the Astros dugout. She'll be gathering stories and information and maybe an interview before long, as we'll also hear from A.J. Hinch today on headsets. A.J. has become a regular member of the broadcast team.
Yeah, he's enjoying it a little too much. I'm going to talk to my agent.
He is, the fans love it. The stuff you see on Twitter.
You don't have access to managers like that. It's unreal that he gets on headset as often as he does. It's great.
He tells us things behind the scenes a little bit. The other day, it was a play at home plate with Brian McCann where Ryan Zimmerman avoided the tag. He kind of broke that play down. He's had to go out and make pitching changes in the middle of our innings where we've had him on headset a couple of times. 2-out walk to Anthony Rendon, and here's Jason Worth. Called strike, 0-1. Musgrove usually a guy around the plate, so kind of unusual in this first inning that he's been behind a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Walks are an issue. That was part of what I think Joe is working on, is controlling that zone.
Breaking ball sent into center field for a base hit. Kind of bobbled by Marisnik, but no advance by Rendon. And the Nationals have their second hit. A couple of runners on here with 2 outs.
And you might think that I'm picking on Joe Musgrove. Right now he's thrown 10 balls, 11 strikes in this game for 21 pitches. But look at what he's done. Walk numbers by year.
Wow.
In the minor leagues, it's unheard of. That 2015 season for me, where he had 100 2/3 in Double-A, between A ball and Double-A, 8 walks.
Wow.
That's under a walk per 9. Those are unreal walk numbers.
The fact that he's never walked more than 10 in any minor league season is remarkable.
That is amazing. And granted, it's going to be a little bit tougher at the big leagues, but he needs to get back to who Joe Musgrove is and how he got here.
Well, that's the challenge, isn't it, for any young pitcher, is to believe your stuff that played at the minor league level can also play in the show.
Yeah. And it's tougher at the big league level because you're not going to face as many hitters that chase as often as minor league guys. Guys in the big leagues can zone in a little bit, have a better idea of the strike zone, and lay off some tough pitches.
Zimmerman on 2 hops to Gonzalez. Marwin throws to his buddy Altuve, and that'll do it for the Nationals. But they score a run on a couple of hits. It's 1-0 Washington. Washington leading Houston 1-0. We are pleased to be joined by the Astros general manager, Jeff Luhnow. Jeff, here we are wrapping things up in spring training, kind of gathering equipment on the trucks today. It feels like you're getting ready for the regular season now?
Yeah, I mean, a week from tomorrow, it's showtime in Houston. But it's been a long spring training. It's been a very good spring training for us. We're ready to go. I think we're as optimistic today as we have been all off season about what's up ahead.
What have you liked most here in the last couple weeks of spring training?
The fact that everybody's healthy, number one. That's always our goal. I think our guys are ready to compete. We have our very close to our opening day lineup out there the last couple of days. First time they've really all played together as a unit. And I'm feeling good. I mean, guys are playing well. Even the guys we sent out, a lot of them, it was tough conversations because they had really good springs.
We mentioned that in our pregame show that there weren't a ton of position battles to be fought here this spring, but the guys that did show up that are going to be at your AAA level for the most part really had phenomenal springs, almost all of them.
They really did. And the message I gave them at the beginning of spring training and as they were getting sent out is it takes on average 40 to 45 players a year for us to get to a major league season. So we'll start with 25, but we're going to need a lot of bodies.
Rendon makes the play to get Yuli Gurriel for the first out here in the second inning.
I've got a question. I have a weighted run created plus on my computer. You noticed that when you came in. For the fans at home, just something generic that you pick up on both offensively and for a pitcher. Is there a number that you seek out first when you're trying to evaluate a pitcher or a position player?
I think one of the things that really has become important for us to look at is the percentage of swing and miss, and it really applies to both pitchers and position players, hitters. If you're a pitcher and you get a lot of swing and miss, you know you're doing something right. And similarly, if you're a position player and you're swinging and missing a little bit more than the next guy, you know you have some things to work on.
Evan Gattis is the batter against Gio Gonzalez. 1 out into the second inning, joined by the general manager of the Houston Astros, Jeff Luhnow. You look at guys who had big springs, and we mentioned, you know, the A.J. Reeds, the Colin Morans. We've seen great things out of Derek Fisher. Nobody has more stolen bases. J.D. Davis is interesting because where do you get at bats for him this summer? Where do you see him fitting in?
What he did here this spring was incredible. He really was one of our better players, and he's going to get at bats. I think he's going to be able to play some third, some first. I mean, he might have to start in Double-A to get those at bats early in the season. But J.D. Davis is really rocketing up our prospect list pretty quickly, both internally and externally. And I think he might be able to play some outfield too. I think we're going to run him out left a little bit because his bat is his carrying tool. He's got some power, but he does well enough at third, and we're going to see it first in the outfield.
Derek Fisher's another guy. Had a
yeah.
very good spring. I had no idea how fast he was, and now he's got 10 bags on the season after 10 attempts.
He's one of the better base runners in our system. He's a guy we drafted out of University of Virginia. He could both run and hit for power. It's a unique combination, which is why we took him in the compensation round that year. And he's done nothing to disappoint. He's really turned himself into a top prospect. And you know, I told him as we were sending him out the other day, you fit this club really well because not only can you generate runs with your bat and your legs, but you're a good defender, and that's sort of our signature here with our club. We got a lot of good defenders out there that can play the game both ways.
Glad to see Reddick get some at-bats against lefties.
No doubt, and I think he's going to be fine against lefties. This guy is a proven major league player. He's hurt us when we've had righties and lefties on the mound, and I think there'll be certain times when AJ will give him a rest, but I don't think he's going to be a platoon player. I think he's got a lot to contribute this year against both sides.
And you had 9 players in the WBC.
We did.
Yeah, a lot of people may not know how intense you guys are in the international scouting department. Talk a little bit about the international scouting you guys do.
Yeah, well, it's run by a guy named Dazo Campo. We have a lot of good scouts, and they've done a good job of scouring the entire planet for players. And we probably have 40% of our players in the minor leagues are from outside the United States, and it's really an important source of talent for us.
All your guys performed brilliantly in the WBC. Jeff figures we'd have a quick inning with you here. Thank you very much for joining us.
Sure, thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, we'll be back with more after this. 1-0 Nationals heading to the bottom half of the second inning. Get single game tickets for the 2017 season and see incredible games like the Astros home opener against the Seattle Mariners and matchups against the Yankees, Red Sox, and Rangers. Visit Astros.com for more info or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Tomorrow will be your last Monday without regular season baseball, as we will kick things off for real a week from Monday. Seattle Mariners are in town for 4. We know who's going to pitch the first game of that series for the Astros, Dallas Keuchel. We know who's going to pitch the last game of that series, Joe Musgrove. And we also know who's going to pitch the first game of the Kansas City series, Mike Fiers. We do not know the Charlie Morton, Lance McCullers order for 2-3. Here we go with Joe Musgrove delivering to Adam Eaton. Sends one in the air to left. The wind is really taking this ball past Josh Reddick all the way to the wall on one hop. So Eaton into second with a double that really was blown with the wind away from Josh Reddick.
You realize how many guys in the outfield are ready to get out of this place with the wind the way it's been blowing today. You see it picked up a little bit. Josh trying to play it off the bat. Not only is the ball tailing towards the line, the wind is absolutely pushing that as hard as it can towards that line. Reddick is a very good outfielder, makes a lot of plays and has a great arm. But again, typically a right fielder. A.J. Hinch to talk about how defensively he likes this shape of the outfield because of the range that they do have, but at the elements sometimes get in the way.
And Josh readily admitted first time or two this spring at left field, it was very different for him. You're getting used to seeing the ball hook a certain way off the bat and playing a lot of right field with the A's. That was a transition for him.
Well, he's a right-handed thrower, so his glove is on his left hand. If you're playing right field and you go to the line, you're opened up. When you're playing left field and a left-handed glove on, you go towards the line, you have to cross over in front of your face, and sometimes you lose the depth perception a little bit, but it's a completely different angle. It's tough to see it off the bat. It's tough to adjust to that ball tailing away off a left-hander's bat. The corner outfield positions are not as easy as some of these guys make it look.
Joe Musgrove ahead of Jose Lobaton, 0-2. Lobaton fouls one away. Switch hitting catcher for the Nationals. Number 59 versus number 59. Usually in spring training, that's a couple of guys that won't make the team, but in this case, they're both on the teams. Musgrove finding out, as Julia said last week, kind of kept it under wraps, that he would be on the Major League roster come opening day. And that pitch is upstairs and away, 1-2. Today will be the last really extended day for Musgrove this spring. He'll pitch in that Cubs game, second one of the exhibition series, but he's not going to be extended in that last outing, probably back down to 3 or 4 innings in that outing. There's a breaking ball and a big strikeout for Musgrove as he gets Lobaton for the first out here in the second.
Yeah, big strikeout in the sense that he was working on that breaking ball. Throws a good one right here. Gaddis does a good job of blocking it, but he keeps Lobaton from moving that runner 90 feet closer.
And just like yesterday, the two teams playing with different rules in that the Nationals want to see their pitchers hit. In this case, Gio Gonzalez. And of course, the Astros will be happy to employ the designated hitter. So Gonzalez bats with a runner on second and 1 out. Late swing at that 92-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-1.
Gives you a good indication the difference between American League Baseball and National League. With the DH, obviously you have to pitch to all 9 hitters. Here with the pitcher up, Joe Musgrove, that was a big out getting Lobaton to swing and miss, because now you face the pitcher. Typically not very good hitters. You get him out. You've got 2 outs with Trey Turner coming up. And a simple ground ball, fly out, punch out, gets you out of the inning without a run being scored.
It is a vastly different game.
Yeah.
It is a vastly different game with the pitcher hitting for a number of reasons. The one, as you mentioned there, a leadoff double by the 7 hitter puts a lot of heat on the 8 hitter to do something with the pitcher right behind him.
And I always found I hit 8-hole plenty in my career. When I was hitting 8-hole, the manager would always pull me off the side and say, look, you've got the pitcher behind you. See a punch out of Gio Gonzalez. But he would have, the conversation would be, you have the pitcher hitting behind you. If you get a runner on second base, third base, I don't care if it's no outs, 1 out, 2 outs, you expand the zone and you do your best to get the barrel on it, try and drive that run in.
That was no nonsense for Musgrove and Gaddis with the pitcher late on the first fastball. They just stayed with the fastball for 3 pitches, and Gonzalez, a strikeout victim. Back to the top of the order here is Trey Turner. There's a called strike, so Musgrove now zoned in. After a little bit of struggle in the first inning, he's thrown all but 1 pitch in the zone this second inning. Breaking ball misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. Turner doubled, scored the first run of this game, and thus far the only run of this game. Nationals lead 1-0. Washington has won 4 of the 6 meetings prior to this afternoon. Today will be the final meeting between Houston and Washington. Good block by Gaddis. Evans really been working a lot this spring on his defense. Chipped it nicely over for that breaking ball. 2-1 the count. Strike at the knees. It's 2-2.
I love Gaddis's work ethic. He's not afraid to tell you that I'm out there working on blocking balls. I wasn't good at it last year. I want to be better, but he's concerned about having a lengthy career. He's got the stick. He's driving in, or he's driving the ball out of the ballpark. 20-plus homers and all every year he's been in the big leagues, but he knows that catching will keep him around that much longer if he gets better at it. So he's out there working at it. I love that about him.
Well, I think it's a second opportunity for him.
Yeah.
You know, maybe catching wasn't in the plans, and then all of a sudden they were again.
Good point.
And it's kind of it seems like, you know, he's blocking pitches, he's throwing well.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a good spring for him behind the dish, and it was a little slow start because he had a little bit of an issue at the beginning of spring with a throwing shoulder, but he seems fine now, and now the count's gone full on Trey Turner.
Well, and for me, just watching Evan between last year and this year, he's a lot more balanced behind home plate. A lot of Astro fans who watched a lot of baseball and watched Evan Gaddis behind the plate, as the pitch approached home plate, you could almost see him leaning forward. So now that he's a little more balanced, it allows him to go and block those baseballs that you're talking about.
Inside out swing and a foul ball past Davey Lopes, who Jeff Blum said was responsible for some stolen bases in your career.
Davey was the best. You just listen to whatever Davey says, you just listen. I grew up watching him when he was with the LA Dodgers in those early mid 80s, but I had a chance to play with him as my first base coach in San Diego with the Padres, and he yelled at me one time, just one time. I learned my lesson. The second time I listened and I stole the base.
There's a called third strike, framed perfectly on the outside corner. Turner goes down looking. Musgrove strikes out the last 3 he faces. It's still 1-0.
Day here in West Palm Beach as the Astros take on the Nationals. They are down 1-0 here in the top of the third, and there's a couple games left down here in West Palm Beach. So catch all the excitement of spring training. Enjoy the state-of-the-art, fan-friendly amenities with the Astros in their brand new home at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Visit astros.com/springtraining for tickets and info. The weather's going to be good the rest of the way for the Astros. A.J. Hinch is going to be putting the A-plus team out there on a consistent basis because these guys are getting close to getting ready for opening day.
Julia Morales will give us a little behind-the-scenes view of the ballpark of the Palm Beaches coming up, so stay tuned for that. Also, A.J. Hinch. Top half of the fourth inning, always one of our favorite times of the game. Here's Marwin Gonzalez leading things off. Astros batting in the top half of the third as the visitor, as you can see with the road dark uniforms today worn by Houston. Gonzalez, Jake Marisnick, then back at the top of the order, and George Springer. Mentioned Springer has the most at-bats this spring for Houston. Second most at-bats, this guy, Marwin Gonzalez, and he really didn't have many going into the World Baseball Classic, but once the Altuves and Bregmans and Correas left, Gonzalez found himself playing pretty much every day. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's the only problem with carrying 4 or 5 gloves in spring training is that if the manager needs you to go play somewhere, he's going to abuse that fact.
Sidearm delivery dropped down to Gonzalez. It's 1-2.
Yeah, Gio already crossfires, and he went a little Laredo.
Night game tomorrow will be our one and only night game that we televise here at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Cardinals will be in town for that, up the road from Jupiter. Swing and a miss, and that is strikeout number 2 for Gio Gonzalez.
I feel like we're seeing a lot of off speed from Gio. Astros are a good fastball hitting team.
And he'll throw the fastball about 60% of the time, a little more, 63% of the time. So he has gone a little more off speed today. You're right.
In those 2 strike counts, but you've also mentioned how he throws that 4-seam fastball, and what the 4-seam he tries to do is exactly that. Tries to get in the kitchen of right-handed hitters.
Jake Marisnick sends one deep, and that ball is in Astro orbit as Marisnick ties the game with a solo home run. Jake's second home run this spring.
Do it, Jake. It's one way to avoid the off speed is hammer the first pitch fastball you see out of the ballpark. Tried to get in the kitchen, but left it up right into Jake's barrel. You got some explaining to do, son.
Yeah, that was a tip of the cap to Dad's call with the Houston Astros. He was a member of the broadcast team from 65 through 70, and that was his home run call. Today would have been Dad's birthday, would have been his 81st birthday. Unfortunately, we lost him during the 2009 season in the game he was getting ready for against the Washington Nationals. So I thought that today would be a good chance on March 26th, which would have been his birthday. We have a telecast to bring back that call for one day.
Beautifully done.
Chopper towards the mound. Gio Gonzalez quickly, bare hands, and George Springer retired for the second out. I was hoping to remember. That was the key. But that was his call. That ball is in Astro orbit. They were Colt 45s for a while, and then Dad was a rookie broadcaster and looking for a home run call, and that's what he came up with. I've heard it a couple of times, but
Do you actually have it on tape
I've
or
heard
recorded?
it through the internet. I found
Really?
a toy cannon Jimmy Wynn home run. I've heard, and a couple of others. So
very cool.
yeah, it's
That
cool.
is very cool.
It's cool. I wanted to go back and listen before today just to make sure I got the verbiage right. Here's Alex Bregman, pitch down low. It's 1-0.
Is it okay to ask you, did you go into broadcasting because of your dad?
I wasn't sure until college,
Yeah.
but that was always in the back of my mind. I was the kid that was up in
The
the booth.
voice is obviously there.
I was the kid up in the booth all the time, keeping the out-of-town scoreboard, and everybody assumed that's what I would do. And it wasn't until college that I realized that would work out for me. Bregman grounds out for the final out of the inning, but Jake Marisnick
Lets it fly, gets a fastball up in the zone, barreled it up. Astros are on the board and in orbit.
We welcome everybody back to West Palm Beach, and we've been showing you some great action this spring on the field at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches, but I wanted to give fans a chance to get a behind-the-scenes look at where the real magic happens. It's the backfields. It's where I am now, and just outside of the clubhouse, you've got bullpens where the pitchers can come get their work in, their sides in. If they haven't pitched enough in a game, they'll finish up back here. There's the batting cages, lots of video equipped in there so guys can really break down their swings afterwards in the video room. Auxiliary field, this is really cool. They can use this for a variety of things, but also doesn't get rained out. Very important in South Florida. Behind that, though, the two fields they use on the Major League side, one of those fields mimics Minute Maid Park, the exact dimensions that they'll see when they get back home to Houston. And then the minor league side is just a little bit further than that. But fans can get out here and walk around. It's a great vibe. You can get up close and personal with some of these Major League players, something you'll never really be able to do when you finally hit that regular season. Really cool stuff, though. We've enjoyed getting to know this ballpark, haven't we, guys?
It's been fun, and we were talking before the game, Julia, how you hardly ever see the other team that works out here, the Washington Nationals. They do their thing, and the Astros pretty much warm up on their own area. They don't usually use the main field to get ready.
Isn't that crazy how there's an entire team somewhere around here? You know, I never see them. It's just it's such a big facility, and they did such a nice job, and you would think it would be the exact same on the other side, but I haven't been able to walk around a lot over there, but the Nationals did a lot of things differently. So a lot of thought went into this as they were planning this all out. But yeah, it's gorgeous here, and even as the group that's with the Major League club gets smaller and smaller, there's still, even in the beginning, there was plenty of room for these guys. It just never seems crowded here. So they've done a really, really nice job.
Well, I think what's great about these new facilities that they do have is they actually have one big building. You're looking at the team store there, and just to the right of the front offices. But they have the big league side, and then they have a hallway that leads to the minor league side. And I've heard a lot of the coaches on the minor league side saying, you're here to work, but you want to be on that side. They keep pointing to the hallway. You want to be walking down that hallway someday. I
love that. Well, you know, I got a chance to walk through the minor league side as well. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I mean, you know, it's so, everything's just, even up the outlets in the lockers. I mean, things that you wouldn't see in a minor league locker room at a spring training facility that's been around for a long time. They have it here, and so even over on that side, it's gorgeous. But yeah, there's definitely a difference as soon as you open that door and walk into that Major League side. The Major League clubhouse is gorgeous and roomy and has a million TVs. I might be off by a few, but it is. It's just it's really cool, and I love that idea of being able to tell them, hey, they're right there. Just work hard and get over there. Also, the gym is like that too. Yep. The Major League side and the minor league side. So you know, they don't really have to cross paths, but a lot of these guys do, and they know each other. And once they get on the backfields, they'll see each other. And another cool thing I do want to mention, you know, these minor league guys that come over for some of these games. You know, we're getting to know them too. We get the roster of who 94 is, and we get to know them a little bit. But it is really cool when they sit in here. Of course, they're the first ones in the dugout, but Carlos Correa took time to say hello to all of them today. Just chat them up for a second, probably make them feel a little bit more at home because they're not over here that often.
Yeah, that's good. That's great for those guys. As Correa got to watch Jose Altuve make that last play. Correa's kind of joking with him because I think Carlos didn't move 1 inch for that baseball because he knew the range of his buddy Jose Altuve. Because that ball was almost in between them. Yeah,
one thing you're going to learn watching a lot of Astros baseball is number 27 is an absolute ball hog. He is Kelly Leak.
He is.
He's going to take away ground balls. He's going to take away pop flies. Any chance he has to be in the mix, he is going to go out there and take it away from somebody else. And I think that might be a little bit of the joshing going back and forth between Correa and Altuve. But how unique is it to have two guys up the middle that are going to be there for a little bit playing together to have that kind of relationship? I think that's pretty rare and special these days.
So Carlos is like, why waste my time going after
this?
I'm
not going over there. You take it.
You got it. 0-2 the count on Anthony Rendon. Rendon in the cleanup spot again for Dusty Baker, the Lamar High School product. 6th overall pick in the draft. Always having a good time. Back-to-back solid lettuce, as you like to say, with Rendon and Worth in this lineup. These guys have some, talk about hair care product with this win.
Oh, man, high maintenance.
Called third strike. Rendon's not sure it was a strike, but Brendan Miller called it one. That's all that matters. That's strikeout number 4 for Musgrove. Baseball, Astros with 1 hit. It was a home run by number 9 hitter Jake Marisnick. We are tied at 1. And the Astros will have Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, and Yuli Gurriel. We said we talked to A.J. Hinch at the top of the 4th. That was my bad. It's actually the bottom of the 4th. This is a road game for the Astros. A.J. likes to have the headset on when he's got a pitcher out there, so we'll hear from him in the next half inning. Altuve walked his first plate appearance. Ground ball on the first pitch. Turner to the backhand, can't field it cleanly, and Altuve on base.
Got a chance to talk to Adam Everett about the backhand play, and right here you get to see it. The feet got a little quick, and it got extended with that left foot. And Adam talked about how he was mentally thinking about trying to catch the ball with his foot. And that means getting that left foot in front of the baseball. You can see Trey Turner kind of extended a little bit. And when you start to reach like that, the hands firm up a little bit, and you see what just happened right there, where he kind of just knocks it down instead of receives it.
Here's Carlos Correa. Altuve credited with a hit. So we have some young fans that might be watching on this Sunday afternoon. So as Everett was explaining it to you, he wants his plant foot, his left foot, to be almost in line with the baseball.
Yeah, he said there were 3 different ways, and that ball right there is a good idea of what he wanted to do with the left foot, because the ball was hit so hard that he get the foot planted, the left foot planted in front of the baseball.
Altuve on the move. Pitch gets away from Lobatone. Jose has his 4th steal of the spring.
Ho-hum. Another stolen base for Jose Altuve. We know he likes to do that a lot during the season. But getting back to Adam Everett, is he talked about how he wanted to get that foot in front of it, because he would get the foot in front of the baseball. Therefore, he didn't have to extend. He didn't have to reach. But he really had to focus on getting the chest down over the knee in order to get the glove down there to be soft to pick up that hop. He also said that sometimes he will go after it with the right foot if it's a little bit faster run like an Altuve, and he can get to that point. It's a little more of a controlled backhand, but he basically catches it with the right foot down and then just stands straight up and throws a seed over to first base.
I know you guys taped a lot of demos today, and that's going to be something fans can look forward to during the season. Absolutely,
yeah. We talk about the resources that the Astros have. We've talked to Nolan Ryan, Enos Cabell, Jeff Bagwell's been in camp, Craig Biggio's been in camp, but you forget about guys like Adam Everett, who are back there too, roving around helping these guys out. So he was nice enough to give us some time, pick his brain a little bit, and tell some good stories.
You got the infield glove back on today?
I did. I've got it up here in the booth. I love this thing. It's amazing how habits kind of come back. The glove goes on the same way. It's completely molded to my hand. You rest it on your hip the same way. You throw the baseball in it the same way. It's such a good feeling to have that thing back on. It's even better to be out there talking with an old teammate too. And what's interesting is I spent a lot of time to Adam's right, but in 2003 when Jeff Kent became an Astro and Craig Biggio moved to center, Kent went on the DL. And there was an option for Craig Biggio to come back in and play second base or stay in center field. And he said, I'm going to stay in center field. I'm going to be there the rest of the year. Kent's on the DL for maybe a couple weeks. And so it opened up a spot where I actually got to be a double play combo with Adam Everett. And that was an absolute blast.
That must have been something special.
That was great. But it's amazing. Guys that are good over there, like the Correas and the Altuves, it's amazing how quick you actually develop a relationship and a rapport, and how you can kind of anticipate some of those moves. You learn real quick where they like to have the feed on double play balls. There you go. That right foot down. That's what he's talking about. Get that right foot in front of the baseball. But see how he didn't take an extra step. He planted the right foot. He was going to make the catch, stand straight up, and make that good firm throw to first. And what he talked about a lot was getting in a good position to make a strong throw, because when you're in the hole at short, that's a long way to go.
Good stuff right there. That's one of those demos we were talking about, and that's the play that Trey Turner unable to make on Jose Altuve. It was a tough play.
Yes.
And with Altuve's speed, he probably rushed it a little bit.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. Sometimes in your head, you know a guy can run, and you have to make that play perfect. And I think Adam actually said that in the demo. He goes, you have to make a perfect play on the backhand no matter how you do it.
Count's now full on Carlos Correa. On the ground, foul. Extended a bat for the Astros shortstop. We mentioned he had great numbers for Team Puerto Rico. Second in the World Baseball Classic in RBIs. And it seemed like the bigger the moment, the better he played.
Isn't that the truth? If there was a moment or a need for a run to be scored, it seemed like Carlos Correa was right in the middle of it and delivered.
Only Vladimir Valentin of the Netherlands had more RBIs than Correa. 3-2 pitch, inner half, called third. Carlos thought it was too far in. That is strikeout number 4 for Gio.
Obviously, I'm a little bit biased towards the Astros and Carlos Correa, but I have a feeling this zone's a little bit expanded. We've seen some calls on both sides for both teams. But again, spring training is a very good time to get in the ear of an umpire and see if you can kind of manipulate them a little bit and get them thinking about the edges of the plate, maybe bring them back in.
Jose Lobaton, really good framer too, and he learned a lot while he was in Tampa Bay from Jose Molina about that very tactic. And you can see that from that center field view on the pitch to Correa. He made that look a lot more presentable than it might have been.
That's a great call and a great point, because there's a lot of emphasis on that. How do you make those pitches look like strikes? And Lobaton did right there.
Two 2-0 the count on Gurriel.
Wish I knew enough about the catching profession to be able to tell you why or how they create that movement, but it just seems like they do a good job of keeping the ball in the center of their body and not too much movement, because the second you kind of reach and drag that ball back to you, the middle part of your body, it throws the umpire off.
Well, on that pitch, he was set up way inside.
Yep.
And then as he caught it, he kind of finessed it towards the middle of the plate. And it made it look a lot better to Brennan Miller than it did to Carlos Correa. 3-0 the count on Yuli Gurriel. There's a strike. Let's take another look, and you can watch it yourself. Way inside. And that little snap.
That was beautiful.
See how he just kind of snapped that pitch into
It's almost like as he was moving forward to catch it, he took it from where it was and then finished his arm right over the plate. That was beautifully done. Good call.
Ball's ripped into left field, and that's going to go all the way to the wall and score Jose Altuve. He will trot home as Yuli Gurriel has an RBI double. That's his 11th RBI of the spring, tying him for the team lead with A.J. Reed.
Great piece of hitting. Talk about Yuli going up the middle the other way, but he's been an RBI machine. Sometimes you think he's going to get beat in there, and he just drags those hands, and you can see how he pulls the hands closer to the chest to get the barrel on it and rips it in that left field corner.
One thing that stood out to me in our inning with Enos Cabell up in the booth is he made sure he said Yuli Gurriel is not a 9-hitter.
Yeah.
Remember that?
That is so true.
He made that emphasis, and he is going to be somewhere lower than he was accustomed to playing all those years as a run producer in Cuba, but as thick as the lineup is, Gurriel is probably going to be towards the bottom half, but still he's going to be able to drive in a lot of runs for Houston this year.
And you've got choices. I mean, we all have choices in life, but if you're Yuli Gurriel, you can complain about being in that 8-hole, or you can go out and do what he does, just rake and drive in runs.
1-0 pitch, swing and a miss. It's 1-1.
Because he's going to have, we talked about it the other day, those 7, 8, 9 guys, they're going to have their fair share of opportunities with guys on base.
It should be a lineup that rolls around pretty seamlessly. It's got potential 1 through 9 to really do some damage. And Gio's thinking, that's twice now I've been about to make a pitch and time has been called. Gio Gonzalez in his 4th inning of work. And it's a different feel, and without denigrating the guys who were towards the bottom of the lineup last year, but there were points in the season where if you were an opposing pitcher and you got through that top half, you felt like you had accomplished a lot because the bottom half wasn't as strong. This year, there's not going to be that breathing room.
Well, there's no panic. There was no, well, I should say there was no panic in the, if you're facing the lineup last year. There's going to be panic this year if you get through the 4, 5, 6 and you accidentally pitch around a couple guys and leave them on base, and you're going to see a McCann or a Gurriel in that bottom part of the order. That's dangerous.
Play made by Turner to get Gaddis for the second out. We've talked about the potential of a McCann being down there, or a Gurriel being down there.
I'm just throwing
or
names
a Reddick,
out there.
or a Reddick being down there. There are times when, as you said, when Gaddis catches and you see Beltran out in the outfield, and maybe McCann gets a DH, where you're going to have 1 through 9 guys that can put the ball out of the park 20 times a year at the bottom of the order.
Yeah, then you face them in Minute Maid Park 81 times. My goodness. These guys are already threats.
Here's Reddick. You heard Jeff Luhnow say he is very confident this is a guy that will play against lefties or righties. And you look at the offense by the order, Blummer, and that's basically what we were talking about from last year.
Yeah, the 1 through 3 obviously great. 7 through 9 not very good. And most big league ball clubs, that's where they put not their weaker hitters, but their less great hitters. But the middle part of the order for the Houston Astros, that average has to jump. The run scored needs to jump. They need to get on base. But those guys are perennial RBI types in the middle part of the order. And when you have Springer, Bregman, and Altuve, or possibly a Reddick in the 2-hole we've heard mentioned a little bit too, those guys are built to get on base. They're built to run, and they're built to score.
The thing that I've liked this spring is everybody's in for the team. Reddick's not used to hitting in this spot. McCann's not used to hitting down in the order. You know, Reddick's a top third of the order guy. There's a called strike on the outer half that may have been away. McCann's a guy that's hit mostly 3, 4, or 4, 5, you know, right in there.
9 years, 20+ home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's used to being in the middle part of the order.
So these guys have bought in, though. They realize there's a lot of talent in this lineup, and they don't care where they hit. They kind of put their ego aside for the betterment of what A.J. Hinch wants to do with his lineup. 2-1 pitch coming, lefty on lefty, and Reddick into left field. This is going to drop for a fair ball and an RBI base hit. Well, Reddick has his second RBI of the spring, and he gets it against a left-handed pitcher. It's now a 3-1 Astros lead.
And you're not asking Josh to drive the ball consistently off of left-handers. You're asking him to put together some good ABs. This is a great AB. You're not asking him to smash it. Just asking him to fillet a couple out there, especially in situations like this. 2 outs, runner on second base. Nice little drop shot, a la Roger Federer. Take it. That is a bonus AB for Josh Reddick.
Josh is happy about that AB. It's not how hard you hit it. It's getting the run home, which he did. It's 3-1. Here's Marwin Gonzalez, called strike, 0-1. We mentioned Reddick hit the top third of the order, mostly third hitter, 63 times last year in Oakland. So now he's in the number 7 spot. We'll see what happens opening day, but it is going to be a thick lineup. Gonzalez getting another start today on the left side of the infield. Yesterday he played for Carlos Correa. Today he gives Alex Bregman a day as the DH. And that was duly noted in the clubhouse as Alex Bregman.
Oh, I've got a question. When AJ gets on headset, that's going to be one of my questions.
Why is the young guy getting the day?
Yeah. I'm a little curious. 22 years old.
Well, that'll be next half inning, so stay tuned.
Yeah, that's that clubhouse teammate mentality. You're like, Skip, seriously? Giving this young kid the day off by DHing.
0-2 pitch in the left field. This is well hit. Jason Worth back, and that ball is in Astro orbit. Marwin Gonzalez, a 2-run home run. Stros have put up 4 this inning and lead it 5-1.
I don't know, the way these guys are swinging the bat, you may have to, borrow that call for a while. These guys have responded.
Definitely nice to be a right-hand hitter today.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right, because it kind of looks like Marwin gets it off the end of the bat, but according to that finish, he knew he got it. But again, when you know the wind's blowing out that way and you elevate in that portion of the ballpark where the wind is blowing pretty good, it's a good chance it's going.
That went deep into the bullpen. Probably would have gone on a calm day anyhow, but definitely today that went a few feet extra beyond the left field wall. Here's a guy who already has a home run today, Jake Marisnick. Jake tied this game last inning, coming up to bat here as the 7th hitter this inning. Marwin Gonzalez, first home run. In fact, that was his first 2 RBIs of the spring. Gonzalez now up to 68 pitches. The count is 2-1 on Jake.
Jake can do a good job with the fastball. It's the off-speed stuff, and being able to keep those hands back is the issue for him, in my eyes.
Away, the count's 3-2.
A good job of working himself back into a prototypical fastball count. We'll see if Gio challenges him.
Outer half called third strike. That'll do it for the Astros in the 4th. But 4 big runs, including a home run by Marwin Gonzalez. Fourth inning, Astros lead the Nationals 5-1, as has become tradition on our Root Sports telecast. We are now joined by A.J. Hinch. Nice half inning last half.
Well, can we not change pitchers this half inning? That could be part of our tradition as well.
Joe's up to 51, but that's pretty safe for now, right?
For now.
Yeah. I was going to say, we thought that before. We had a bloody toe and a blowout.
Right. We don't need either one of those. So we'll stick with a nice little clean inning here. I hope you guys can help me out with that.
So you announce Joe Musgrove, or at least you have the conversation with him, and we announced.
Right.
We stole your information. And you had a conversation with him. Tell us about how that went and what that means for your rotation.
So here's one of the best parts of the job is when you get to tell guys they make the team, or hey, here's your role, and especially for guys that are in limbo with not knowing quite what to expect. So I pulled Joe in about a week ago, and I tell him, I said, ask him how the spring's going, check in with them. It's some standard operation for me. Talk to these guys all the time, and I said, the hardest dilemma for me is whether you're going to face Seattle or whether you're going to face Kansas City. And he's sort of that dead silence in the middle, like, which means you're on the team, Joe. And then so he's happy, and I said, but here's the test. Can't tell anybody. I'm not going to announce it until your next start. So a little bit of gamesmanship that comes with that, but the conversation went well. I think he's got a ton of confidence, and I did want to lift the burden a little bit out off his next couple outings to where he could freely compete and not feel like every ball won like this is so dramatic that he's not going to make the team.
Musgrove pitching to Jason Worth to start the bottom half of the 4th inning. Kind of the opposite of what we saw yesterday, where Lance had a first inning where he threw mostly strikes. Musgrove, normally around the plate, didn't command the first inning, but seems to have gotten better since then.
Yeah, he generally commands the strike zone a ton, and he almost throws too many strikes at a lot of times. So it's a fine line with Musgrove on quality of strikes being more important than necessarily how many strikes he throws. And he's got a lot of weapons, got a ton of pitches. He can kind of attack any game plan, which puts a lot of burden on him to make sure their qualities are not just a fastball away, but maybe fastball precisely down and away or up and away, and he can execute a game plan.
All right. I saw the lineup today. And
Our
you know which question or your lineup. You know what question I'm going to ask, right?
Josh Reddick against a lefty?
No.
This is from a veteran.
Why Bregman's DHing?
There you go. Why is the 22-year-old DHing?
Worth with the ball into right field. The throw in time. George Springer from right field. A one-hop strike to get Worth, trying to stretch a single into a double.
You know, I really could go and ask you about your outfield configuration, but let's get back to the 22-year-old.
Well, one of the other options at DH was Springer, but I'm sure glad I left him in right field. That's managing right there. You know, it's funny. Bregman comes back from the WBC, and there's a couple things in play here. One, I want him to keep getting major league at bats. It's easy to send him over to the minor league side. He can go get 10 or 12 at bats and feel a little bit better about himself against some minor league competition. Here, a little different facing Gio. So I wanted to keep him off his legs. The second part was we continually put these guys in firing range with the veteran players. So, you know, I made sure, and I texted Altuve, I texted Reddick, I texted a couple guys.
Beforehand?
Oh, for sure.
That's beautiful.
Make sure they understand. Hey, just so you know, the DH spot's going to Bregman. So have at him, boys.
Did they let him have it?
Oh, they killed him from the very beginning. They were making sure that he realized most of these guys don't DH until their third or fourth year in the big leagues, let alone their first full season in front of them. So we had a little fun with Bregman this morning.
Oh, I absolutely love that. That's part of baseball. That's a part of spring. And that's how, I mean, oddly enough, in baseball, that's how you kind of bring guys together and build that camaraderie. But you hinted at Josh Reddick. You have a chance to have things under control in spring and give him some left-handed ABs. What have you seen?
Well, as he said, like all he has to do is throw it out there.
Hey, Springer's going to have
Good coaching.
a highlight reel in one inning today for George Springer.
Who's moving that guy to center field? Why don't we
Seriously,
leave him
that's
right?
pretty comfortable, right?
Nicely done by Springer on a ball that was blown in.
How about the fact that George is making great plays out there? Jake Marisnick has gone deep, and Josh Reddick is in the game and getting knocks off left on left. I think you found your outfield.
Today's a good day. You're going to see this configuration during the year for either at the end of games or even if I do start Reddick against a lefty or Jake on any given Sunday or any day game where he's given somebody a blow. But
Sounds like a good movie title.
Any given Sunday?
Yeah.
It was a movie.
Oh, my bad.
Just keep letting you know. But I like actually the defense here. And Springer obviously is a very gifted right fielder. We're moving him to center for obvious reasons, but it won't surprise me if he gets Gold Glove votes in center field as well.
That ball drifted a little bit on Reddick earlier in the game. Have you seen better play in left this spring as he's gone along?
Oh yeah, he's been fine. The wind is it's pretty rough out here with the wind when you get on the field, and that took off a little bit against him with a hitter that's pulled, you know, a right-handed pull or a left-handed slice. It had nothing really to do with his lack of time in left field. A little bit more to do with the jump he got off of it, and then the ball carried a little bit on him.
Gaddis behind the plate has looked extremely good. I know he's been working hard. You've got to be more comfortable with him back there, right?
I am, because I think he's settled himself down a little bit. There's an anxiousness to Gaddis when he catches, but he's a lot smoother with his delivery, with his receiving. He's blocking with a little bit more ease. We're a full year into getting him back into catching. I think he's a lot more confident with handling our pitching staff. It's not going 100 miles an hour during the season.
Your right fielder did a good
AJ.
job of keeping this inning short for us.
Congratulations to all of you. You're off the hook.
We needed it.
All right, AJ
Thanks,
Hitch.
AJ.
As always, joining us in the fourth inning. We'll have more after this.
5th, 5-1 Astros lead the Nationals. Astros mini plans are on sale now. Pick your games and seat locations with a 15-game flex plan, or come for the giveaways with a 10-game bobblehead series package. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/mini plans to get yours today. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. 5th inning baseball. Astros with a run in the 3rd and 4 in the 4th. And now back to the top of the order, facing Gio Gonzalez, who has thrown 71 pitches. This will be his extended day, too, just like the starter for the Astros, Joe Musgrove, as George Springer will lead things off. George looking for his first hit of the afternoon. Astros with 5 hits. 4 of them have come from spots 5 through 9.
Playing some D last inning.
Oh, Springer. He's robbed. Well, it was going to be a foul ball anyhow, but he did not allow Ryan Zimmerman to extend his at bat with a great play in foul territory. And Jason Worth, that looked the whole time like it would be a double, but fielded it perfectly off the wall. A strike to Carlos Correa to throw out Worth trying to get into second base.
George is really good at everything.
Check swing, foul ball. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, he's going to play a lot of center.
Yes.
Majority of the time he'll be in center. But as you heard from A.J. Hinch, we are going to see times when this is the outfield alignment. And it's a very, very good defensive alignment when he's in right, Merzenich in center, and Reddick's in left.
Yeah, Astro fans have seen Josh Reddick in that Oakland A's uniform make some good plays.
A little base hit up the middle. In front of the center fielder, Adam Eaton, and George Springer is a leadoff base runner.
There's a reward for some good defense. Just off the end of the bat, drop it out there in front of the center fielder. But what I was going to say is Astro fans have seen Josh Reddick play a very good outfield for the Oakland A's in the past, but being able to watch him on a daily basis, we'll get to learn a lot more about him, see some of the routes that he takes, but actually get a chance to see more of that arm that we've heard about. We've seen it a couple times, but he has a very good arm out there.
And Reddick in left will have one of the strongest arms from that position that you'll ever see.
And that's a nightmare for third base coaches. They're going to go into the game with a guy on second base and immediately be apprehensive. They're going to think stop before go. They're not going to be as aggressive knowing that you've got 3 guys that can run, track down the ball, and fire it home.
Here's Alex Bregman, designated hitter today. You heard from A.J. Hinch in the last half inning. Kind of speaks to A.J.'s relationship with his team, too, that he texts the veterans to let them know ahead of time that Bregman's getting a DH.
Is that not incredible?
Because he knew they would wear out.
I know managers that wouldn't let the young man DH because they didn't want that to happen, whereas A.J. is encouraging it.
Let's bring it on.
Yeah.
And it did not go unnoticed in the clubhouse today. Springer on first. And again, A.J. wants to get Bregman at bats, but he knew that Bregman was going to take some heat, so he just preempted that by making sure all the veterans knew. And he'll take a called strike on the outer half.
Then I'm going to go a little bit out on a limb here, just knowing A.J.'s personality and knowing a little bit about Alex Bregman, a young superstar, WBC. A lot of accolades, gets a lot of attention. Sometimes you got to bring those guys back down to earth just a little bit. And what better way to do it than maybe leak the story to the veterans and let them have some fun with them. But it makes these guys feel like a part of the team, too.
And they're the right veterans, too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's the right veterans, and it's all part of a bonding experience.
It is. Oddly enough, it is.
When you're the young stud, you get knocked down a peg or two just to keep you humble.
Yes. Other workplaces, you might be calling HR. But in the clubhouse, HR is within the clubhouse.
That's the way it works.
Yes.
It's all about service time, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
When you have the service time, it's almost like a fraternity. It is a fraternity. You're with these guys 8 months a year, every day.
So much time.
And it is a fraternity. And the pecking order goes with the longer you've been in the show, the more respect is given. Up the middle, that's going to be gloved by Turner nicely. Great Turner. Turning what could have been a hit into an out with a nice play up the middle.
That was an excellent play. And as much as we talked about fundamentals with Adam Everett, and you'll hear about those later in the year, this is just pure athletic talent and a great play. You got to be creative, but you also have to have the ability to make the play.
Here's Jose Altuve. Altuve with an infield hit, stolen base, and a walk so far today. Pitch from Gio Gonzalez misses away, 1-0.
And to Alex's credit, I guarantee you he took it like a champ in the clubhouse, all the ribbing from the veteran guys.
He's kind of joked with his teammates when talking about his participation or lack thereof in the WBC that he led the World Baseball Classic in high fives. So
that gives you a good idea of the mentality of the young man. He's a baseball player in every sense of the word. He's just been groomed for this. Fits the mold beautifully for the Houston Astros.
Altuve, a good breaking ball that he looks at for a strike. It's 1-2. Excited to see this guy over the course of 162, coming off the .338 season last year with 24 home runs. Extended that home run power and did not drop at all in the batting average department. In fact, he hit .338 after a .313 season in 2015. Chop towards third. Rendon nicely on the short hop to second for the force out. Nationals left side of the infield throwing a little leather at Houston this half. So 2 outs. Altuve lives on the fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Carlos Correa. Now, Correa and Beltran not able to participate in the parade down in Puerto Rico, but we were hearing some stories about what that meant to the country, or to the territory of Puerto Rico, from Alex Cora, who was the GM of that World Baseball Classic team. As that team, almost half, a little more than half the guys ended up going down there for a parade.
I was thoroughly shocked. He said about 15 of those guys went down there, and I thought that was an amazing thing. But Puerto Rico in a little bit of flux. They're gonna, are they going to stay independent? Are they going to be a state? There's a lot going on, but a lot of what we've seen in the WBC is a lot of pride for that name across their chest, and the Puerto Rican guys really use that as fuel to get them to play very well in the WBC. That being said, they are incredibly talented. Incredibly young. So, I mean, it had to be a lot of fun with the motivation and the talent that these guys were going out there with. They were a great ball club to watch, but they did do a lot of good for the people back in Puerto Rico to take their mind off things a little bit.
Correa still styling that blonde top, as that was kind of the theme for Team Puerto Rico, the blonde hair throughout.
Unity. Anything to bring these guys together. One guy does it, they all do it. They are all in it together. And then we saw the entire country basically ran out of hair dye.
Yeah, they did. Team Rubio sparked a whole new look down in the island of Puerto Rico. It's incredible when you think about the talent from that one area, 100 miles by 35 miles, to have Baez, Lindor, Correa. Just unbelievable, especially middle infield talent. There's a slider inside. Altuve, a delayed steal. He's going to get in as Murphy can't catch the throw from Lobato. It should have been a caught stealing to end the inning, but Jose Altuve ends up with his second steal of the day and his 5th of the spring.
Yeah, that was a delayed steal. It's amazing. Altuve just wreaks so much havoc on the base paths. But it kind of goes to something we'll talk about throughout the course of the season, is that with this speed, you force the defense to play perfect baseball.
Now in scoring position with 2 outs. Top 5 MVP. That's your call this year, right?
Yes.
I like it.
If not winning it all.
There you go. Number 1, Carlos Correa. Prediction from Jeff Blum is that he will be top 5 in the MVP voting, if not the MVP overall. Fouled off the end of his bat is 2-2.
Yeah, I did a radio interview the other day, and we're talking about Carlos Correa and how well he played the WBC. But I kind of went back to last year. It wasn't really a sophomore slump for him. He still put up great numbers. But you could tell it was a learning experience for Carlos. A young kid exploded onto the scene his rookie year, put up massive numbers. The league adjusted back to him, and he had to adjust to being a guy who's a marked man in that lineup. And now he's got the big spotlight that we talked about in the WBC and went off. Now he's going to be in a big league lineup, third year technically in the big leagues, and I think he's getting better, he's getting bigger, he's getting smarter, and with this swing, we don't know what the ceiling is on this guy. It could be massive.
22-year-old, and I really think the impact and influence of a Carlos Beltran, especially on this guy, could be huge.
Well, I wonder if what that impact is. I'm sure Julie will have an opportunity to sit down with these guys once the season starts and have a little more in-depth conversation. But I thought it was interesting that Carlos Beltran and Carlos Correa were together in Puerto Rico, and Carlos was hitting behind Carlos Correa, and Correa went off. So it's kind of interesting to see how that dynamic plays out the rest of the year.
Good take by Correa there as he ends up drawing a walk from Gio Gonzalez. Now, the first time Beltran was in town, he made sure he grabbed a little dinner with both Carlos Correa and Jose Altuve.
It's good to see those veterans come in and try and become a part of the ball club. What I think is interesting about that too is that Carlos signing as a free agent, coming into the Astros, on the outside looking in, and you said, whose team is it? You might say Jose Altuve first and then Carlos Correa. Those guys are a main cog in this Astros organization, both being bred from within, and Carlos sits down with them and talks to them. He probably had some questions about the Astros organization and how they go about things. Questions about the coaching staff.
Nationals pitching coach Mike Maddox out there talking to his 31-year-old left-hander Gio Gonzalez. Gio up to 90 pitches right now, so he is probably nearing the end of his day. This is where he got in trouble last year and also got in trouble last inning. Runners in scoring position, now position hitting 333 last year and a 913 OPS. Cued off the end of the bat, Gonzalez makes the play himself, and that'll do it for the Astros. So 2 runners left aboard. We are through 4.5. Halfway home, it's 5-1 Stros. Root Sports is presented by the Shell Houston Open, returning for another exciting year on March 30th. Get your tickets now at shellhoustenopen.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Another sunny day here in West Palm Beach, Florida. Boat show was in town over the weekend. Fine vessels right there. 5-1 Astros as we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning.
Did you get to go on a boat?
I did not. I want to. Those boat shows always make me wish I had a boat again. I had a little bow rider.
Dinghy?
Yeah, a little dinghy. Little bow rider a few years ago. But I've always wanted to get another boat. Now it's going to be a little more difficult not being near a body of water to have a boat on it.
Galveston right there.
Okay. It's not right there, but yeah.
Take it, I mean, to go up that Houston Bay right
but
there.
I see these boats that I really like, and I realize
gosh,
there's no chance. I've got to work a lot longer than I.
Well, that just to get it, but the maintenance on those things, especially in the salt water.
Yes.
Wow.
Here we go with Jose Lobaton, bottom half of the 5th, taking a pitch low and inside for a ball, 1-0. Speaking of the Houston Open, they are in the finals of the World Golf Championship match play event today. It's going to be John Rahm, the young stud out of Spain, against Dustin Johnson. There goes Jose Lobaton's bat almost into our camera. 4. If Julia was in that dugout, she may have been hit.
That wouldn't have been a good thing. That would have been a terrible thing for our broadcast.
Very close to her position on the opposite side.
Yeah. She has been in the line of fire of a lot of foul balls. Luckily, no bats have gotten to her.
Did you have a teammate who used to always throw his bat? Kelly Shoppett comes to mind of a guy that used to always helicopter bats, like consistently. Never one guy.
Not really.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If you did it, was it always back to the pine tar? Or did you ever have one of those?
I've thrown a couple into the stands and just left them, but yeah, I'll get on the Manny Mota stick to make sure it doesn't come out of my hands.
Just so if you ever tossed one into the crowd, it would stay there.
Oh, I'd go back to the dugout fully deflated, just going, oh man, that just happened. You know, first you got to check and make sure you didn't square anybody up,
right? Which
was kind of tough for some of my bats to do, anyways. But I figured if that bat didn't want to be in my hands, I'm not going to get it back. What's the point?
In the air to left center. This is going to drift towards Reddick as Marisnik peels off and lets the left fielder take it for out number 1. Did you have, if you had a stick that was really going well?
Yeah.
I mean,
that one you might go after.
That one you might go after.
Yeah.
So you made sure if you were on a good streak, you use the same stick day after day, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was different in a sense that my bat had it had a thicker handle on it, so my bats didn't break as easily. I was introduced to a bat called an M253, and I believe it dates back to Jack Clark used it when he was playing. Phil Nevin was a guy that used it, but I was here with the Astros in 02-03 when Alan Zinter got called up, who's now the hitting coach for the San Diego Padres, and I was scuffling. I mean, I was just reaching at anything, and he puts his bat in my hands, and it feels absolutely horrific. I'm like, how am I supposed to swing this thing? It felt like a telephone pole. And he goes, just take it up there. and I looked at him, and I'm like, you serious? He goes, what have you got to lose?
Jack Clark said this?
No, Zinter.
Zinter said this, yeah.
And I was like, I can't argue that. That's a very good point. I'm already as bad as I feel. And I went up there against Jason Marquis. He hung me a changeup. I went deep.
Really?
Guess what I ordered the next day?
Say that bat.
I said, I need a dozen of these now. And I swung them throughout my career, and we eventually nicknamed it the lead pipe because it wouldn't break. It was amazing. It was the densest piece of wood that Louisville Slugger could give me.
Zach Collier is a pinch hitter for Gio Gonzalez, so his day's over. Different bats, lefty-righty?
Yes. I had a little bit thinner handle right-handed. I liked a T141 when I swung right-handed. Eventually, I kind of morphed into, and I actually learned about this bat from Manny Ramirez, was an S318. A little bit bigger barrel, and it was still a pretty thick handle, but not enough to really offset the weight of the bat.
Nice play by Yuli Gurriel, who's looking more and more comfortable every day at first base as he flips one to Musgrove.
Yeah, with that short inning, I was going to ask him again about Yuli Gurriel going over there to first base.
That's been one of the storylines this spring, and I think there's no reason to think that he's going to be just fine over there.
Yeah, and to your point, we talked about moving down in the order. Guys are going to have to make adjustments and some sacrifices. Yuli has made the sacrifice from being an everyday third baseman where he was in Cuba to moving over to first base to get him in the lineup. And I don't see that as a detriment. I see that as Yuli Gurriel is a bat I need in my lineup. Therefore, there's a position open. Do you want it? And he took care of it and is doing a great job.
Ball is rocketed just foul down the left field line off the bat of Trey Turner. It's that piece of lumber that was as thick as you could find.
Yeah.
You didn't go through a whole lot of bats that year.
No, I've literally, where was it, 2005 with the San Diego Padres, I had an order of M253s, and I think I ordered just a dozen of them, and that was it.
For the whole year?
Whole year.
There you go, end of the inning. Yuli Gurriel catches a line drive off the bat of Trey Turner. Joe Musgrove has really locked in. We are through 5. It's 5-1.
Nationals, top of the 6th, and we'll see Josh Reddick come up in this inning. He'll face a righty this time around, as he faced a lefty. One of the things he's trying to get at bats against lefties this spring. You know what? Josh Reddick coming over from the Dodgers most recently, but the Oakland A's before that, and got a chance to just catch up with him on his history in the game and where did things start to click for Reddick. And when he was traded over to Oakland, 2012 was a huge year for him, a Gold Glove that year, and just everything started to click defensively, offensively. He said at that point when he started playing every day, seeing more pitches, he just felt so much more comfortable, and then he's continued to build on that. We're going to have much more on Reddick coming up when he does finally get up to the plate, so I'm going to toss it up to you guys with setting up Evan Gattis.
All right, Julia, we head to the 6th inning. New pitcher for the Washington Nationals, a guy familiar to Astros fans, started his major league career in Houston, Matt Albers. 34-year-old right-hander, heavy sinker ball pitcher, and also will feature a changeup and a slider. From Clements High School, Sugar Land, Texas, Astros fan growing up, and he'll face Gattis, Reddick, and Marwin Gonzalez. Called strike, 0-1. Albert started his career with the Astros in 2006. Appeared in 31 games in 07. Was involved with the Baltimore Orioles in a trade after that year. Miguel Tejada was part of that deal. Coming back to Houston, Gattis fouls one at the plate. It's 0-2. Not trying to make a roster at age 34. Coming off a tough year last year with the Chicago White Sox. Also pitched for Boston for a year and a half, Arizona for a half season, Cleveland, back with the Astros in 14 for a short time, and also the White Sox the last 2 years. Pitch in the dirt, it's 1-2. Gattis looking for his first hit today, has struck out and grounded out. Evan is the pace of play dream as he does not leave that batter's box.
Shining example.
The commissioner would be thrilled with a lot of Evan Gattises in the lineup. There's a called third strike. There's the framing we talked about. That pitch looked off, but Lobaton made it look good for a called strike. And Albers picks up a K.
We are building a champion, and it is presented by Advocare. Josh Reddick coming to the plate. Look at his last 4 seasons. 13, 14, 15, and 16. We only took his numbers from Oakland because they are very good, but the wins or the weighted runs created plus on the right-hand side is a good metric. The Major League average or the baseline for them is right around 100. Anything above 100 is a very good number. And Josh Reddick, you can see in those last 3 years out of those 4, has been excellent at creating runs. That'll give value to the doubles, triples, home runs. It takes into some of the base running, such as stolen bases. And we know that the Oakland way is to take a lot of pitches, work at bats, get on base. So therefore, the on-base percentage is included there on the left-hand side. Good numbers.
Major League average is 100?
Yeah, that's like pretty much the baseline where you want the average. If you're below 100, you're below Major League average, but he is well above that. And the plus at the end of that takes into account the park, so it's ballpark affected.
Because Oakland's not a fun place to hit.
No, in many ways.
It's usually a tough place for hitters, a lot of foul territory. Really have to hit it to get it to go in that yard. 4-pitch walk to Josh Reddick. So Albers, after a strikeout of Evan Gattis, loses Reddick on 4 pitches.
See what happened right there? Got on base.
There you go. So that's we're going to try and introduce some analytics to the fans over the course of the year, but we also want to keep it simplified to the point where they can understand it. So WRC plus is something that you.
And just talking to scouts, talking to front office, obviously there's plenty of minds in the Astros front office that I've been able to get near and ask, and they love the OPS, and everybody knows what OPS is, which is the combination of slugging and on-base percentage, which is very good. But it kind of takes batting average. A lot of these numbers take batting average out of it because it gives equal value to a single and a double and a triple and a home run, whereas some of these numbers like weighted runs created give more credit when you slug the ball. Strikeouts are a little less meaningful these days. Guys want to see the ball driven. But if you can hit yourself into scoring position, you should get a little more credit for it. But yeah, we're going to have a little fun, try and talk about some of the analytics.
And this is a baseball team, the Houston Astros, that really enjoy the analytics. Jeff Luno noticed that you were looking at WRC Plus when he walked into our.
He perked up a little bit.
He did. He noticed that you had that on your computer screen.
Timing is everything, by the way.
There you go. Couple of pitches to Marwin Gonzalez here. Called strikes. The last one didn't look very good.
Oof.
But Brendan Miller's got a big zone today, and Jose Lobaton's doing a nice job helping out his pitchers. That one can't be helped in the dirt. 1-2. 5-1 Astros. Gonzalez hitting a 2-run home run his last time up, as he was a right-hand hitter, now turning around against the righty Albers and hitting left-handed for the first time today. Marwin's first 2 RBIs of the spring. Home runs by Marisnick and Marwin Gonzalez, part of a 5-1 Astros lead.
Good job of fighting by Marwin. And you know, the strike zone has expanded a little bit for the home plate umpire. You've got to really test the limits of it by fouling some of those pitches off, because you leave it in the umpire's hands, more often than not, they're going to get a little fancy and ring you up on that called third. And I've always, you want to speed up the game and really get this thing moving, force guys to swing the bat. You go back to that late 90s Atlanta Braves strike zone.
Oh, boy. Playoffs?
Yeah, step on home plate to try and hit the outside corner. My gosh.
Yeah, there were some zones there, one in particular with Eric Gregg behind the plate that people still refer to.
Yeah, that was that Levon Hernandez game. I remember he punched out, I think it was Fred McGriff on a backdoor breaking ball, and literally he just dropped his shoulders. I can't even get near that. I don't know what to do.
That was one of those where the pitcher keeps going out further and further to see how far he can go, and it never stopped.
Yeah, Charles Johnson kept going, and he's like, you can still give this to you. I'm going to keep going out there.
1-2 pitches fouled away. Gonzalez down to a knee. Well, the zones are, now that we have Quest Tech and more judging of the umpires, umpire supervisors grade out every outing by an umpire behind the plate.
Yes.
We're getting a little more uniform strike zone with all the technology.
I agree, and we saw 4 umpires retire this year. Therefore, 4 more umpires are going to move into the big league. So they are getting their hands on some of these younger guys. It's tough to mold guys that have been in the big leagues for 15+ years to try and change their strike zones. They're pretty much used to their way.
Popped in the air, shallow left. It's drifting out to the left fielder Worth, who makes the play for the second out. And I'm probably a little biased because I've been in baseball my whole life, but I'm not sure there's another sport that's officiated, or in this case umpired, better than baseball. I know that, you know, the NFL has their share of issues in the NBA, but I think the consistency for the umpires is as good as any professional sport.
Yeah, I agree. And it's kind of, we argue and we talk about, and we'll have different opinions on strike zones, and you'll see hitters arguing with the home plate umpires. But for the most part, when you see some of those gradings come out, they're actually pretty high. They're in the high 80s, almost 90% plus, as far as balls and strikes and how many they get right, which is, I thought was incredibly high.
There are, and I was privy to this, an umpire supervisor told me a few years ago off the record, but there are occasional perfect games. I guess
really?
It's on the record now. Occasional perfect games. Now, here's the deal.
That's impressive.
Only a sliver of the baseball has to be within that zone. But if a sliver of the baseball is within the zone, even if 90% of it's off, that counts as a strike. And I think they have a gradation of a percentage or two. So, but there are a few perfect games a year, which is hard to believe.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the sliver, 90% of the baseball being off, because as a hitter, the plate may be 17 inches wide, but you know that at least an inch, inch and a half on each side, you will give the umpire.
Ground ball to second. Daniel Murphy retires Jake Marisnick. That'll do it. Middle of the 6th, 5-1 Astros.
news a week ago, and he backed it up by going out there and pitching a strong 5 innings. He will be the 4th starter in the Houston Astros rotation. Did a great job going those 5 innings I just talked about. 4 hits, only gave up 1 earned run. What is great is he had 4 punch outs, 1 walk to go with it, and Julia's with Joe right now.
Thanks, Wilmer. Yeah, Joe's nice enough to hang around just a little bit longer after his outing today. Joe, just give us your first reaction to today's outing.
I'm really happy with the way it went today. You know, most importantly, I still feel healthy and I'm feeling strong. So at about 80 pitches through 5, I'm kind of right where I want to be right now. So in regards to that, I feel really good. And then result-wise, I felt pretty good. You know, my first inning got a little behind hitters and struggled to find the zone a little bit. And I think I got to do a better job transitioning from the bullpen over to the game mound and really carrying that intensity right into the first inning. But yeah, the defense made a ton of good plays behind me, bailed me out a lot. Catcher Gaddy called a great game back there, and it was all around a good game.
I did want to ask you just specifically the difference between that first and second inning with you just being able to pound the zone right there. Is that just an intensity thing?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, there's certain days where I'll go out in the bullpen and I'll feel really good out there, and it doesn't necessarily translate out here. And then the days you go out and, you know, you're not as sharp in the bullpen, there's that little added edge of intensity and focus out there with each pitch. So I think I just have to do a better job of, regardless of how it goes out there, to kind of just carry it over into the game with the same intensity every time.
Lots of things for you to think about, too, in these spring trading outings. I know you're working on things just like everyone else is, but we do want to congratulate you on being a part of the opening day roster for the first time. What did the conversation go, or how did the conversation go with A.J. Hinch on that?
Thank you, first of all. It was good. He called me in and just told me, said, hey, look, I know you're still competing for a spot, and I don't want you to get caught up in trying to focus too much on really putting zeros up on the board. I want you to be able to prepare and get your stuff ready the way that you feel you need to. And he said he trusts. Nice play. He trusts the way I go about my work, and he trusts that I'll be ready for opening day. So he said he wanted to take a little bit of pressure off of me feeling like I had to go out there and put up zeros every time in order to win the spot, and just be able to go out and prepare myself how I need to.
Did that help as far as taking the pressure off? I mean, what was that first emotion for you?
It was, it was really exciting. First thing I think of is my family. I was really excited to call them and tell them all, but I tried to keep the same mindset throughout spring, which was to go out there and prepare myself how I would normally for an opening day, and kind of just remove the whole competition of a starting spot out of it, because I get caught up in that too much, and I start doing things that I normally wouldn't be doing on the mound at that point in spring, and the intensity goes up, and who knows, I might not stay healthy through spring if I'm trying to overdo it this early on. So I tried to just go out there every time and work on what I needed to work on and get myself prepared for the year, and I kind of knew in my mind that if I can do that things would pan out this way, and they have.
We hear about how competitive you are and how in shape you always are because of your workout. So what steps did you take this offseason? I know you worked out with James Hoyt a little bit. What did you do to get your body ready?
We did a class with a lady named Liba. This lady we found out in San Diego. She runs a class. It's like a corrective exercises class. And I've had hip issues in the past and some shoulder and elbow problems. So working with her, I think, really got me right. And on top of that, the normal stuff that I do, working out with my guys at EM back in San Diego, and my godfather, the guy that always kind of gets us prepared for season and gets us in the right mindset. So I didn't change a whole lot, just a little more focus towards what I was doing, and then I added in that corrective exercises class that really got my body feeling right.
Taking it back just a little bit further, what did you learn about yourself from your experience in the big leagues last year?
I tended to rush through outings at times. I would get going with the good. And I'm always a guy that's been big on the tempo in a game. Try to keep my infielders and my position players active in the game and try to keep a good tempo. And I think that ended up hurting me a little bit last year. Sometimes I get out there and I try to get a tempo going, and when things started speeding up on me, I tried to just speed them up even more. To get out of the inning, as opposed to sitting there and maybe stepping off and taking a deep breath and analyzing the situation a little more. So. I've tried to be a little more calm and really work some more breathing into my routine out there on the mound, and kind of keep myself at a more even keel than let myself get sped up too much.
I hear the pitching coach, Brent Strom, in that. And as you tell me, are those some of the things he tells you?
Yeah, absolutely. I tend to get a little too quick to the plate out of the stretch, which is an issue for me. But my mindset has always been, if I get a guy on first base, I want him to stay there. I want the double play opportunity to stay in order. So I've always taken a lot of pride in being quick to the plate and trying to be efficient, but sometimes I get a little too quick and I lose my efficiency to the plate. So I've tried to focus a little more on my holds and you know, my timing and kind of switch up my cadence to the plate, as opposed to necessarily trying to rush to the plate as much.
Makes sense. Now that a righty finally came up, we can both breathe a little bit. This has been an intense interview with his glove ready. A couple of good hitters at the plate left-handed, but I do want to just more of a fun question. You know, we've gotten to know Alex Bregman as being a fun guy that everyone likes to pick on. We hear about all these guys. You seem a little bit more serious when you take them out. What are you like in the clubhouse? Where do you fit in with all these guys?
I don't know. I'm pretty calm. I try to just stay to myself, and, you know, I have my little groups of guys that you're obviously a little more comfortable with, you know, sharing certain things, but I don't know. I mean, when I'm at the field, it's a lot of focus for me. You know, I really take a lot of pride in what I do and my work at the field. You know, we're only here for a short amount of time, and as a pitcher, you know, we're on the field for maybe 30 minutes a day, you know, maybe an hour at the most. So I have a lot of downtime that could be wasted, but I try to use it, you know, to my advantage and get extra work in wherever I can. So, but when we're down, yeah, I like to play cards and joke around and laugh with the guys. So.
No one's picking on you, though, right?
No, not yet. Not yet. It'll come at some point.
Just stay quiet. Stay quiet. Thanks for the time. Thanks for the insight and the perspective. And again, congratulations. We'll see you that 4th start of the year against the Mariners, right?
Thanks, Julia.
Guys.
All right, Julia, nice job. Joe Musgrove, some great insight there.
He's an easy conversation.
Always special for that first opening day where you go on the foul line with the rest of the guys for the first time.
It is. I've got a funny story when we have a chance about breaking camp and doing that.
All right. Well, if Jason Worth keeps this inning alive, maybe we can get to it. If not, stay tuned for the 7th. Jason Worth batting with 2 outs, a runner on. Ken Giles in his first inning of work walked Bryce Harper. And he's now 2-1 on Jason Worth.
Yeah, being on an opening day roster and being able to jog out there on that opening day, I mean, it's Christmas times 10. It is so incredible. And the thing for me is, it was like that. I was lucky enough to, you know, to have 14 opening days.
That's awesome.
And
Congrats
it was, thank you. It was as awesome as it was the first time I did it. Every time I went out there, it was such, and there's so much pride and joy running up on that line.
3-1 pitch hit well to center field. Marisnik back. The wind's going to keep this in play, and Jake makes the grab in front of the track. Well hit by Worth, but it goes as a long out, and we are through 6. It's 5-1. Astros lead the Nationals. We head to the 7th inning. Top of the order due up for the Nationals opposition, the Houston Astros. George Springer will lead things off. Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, most of the regulars still in there. Marwin Gonzalez was lifted for J.D. Davis in the last half inning. We heard from Julian Morales interviewing today's starter Joe Musgrove about making his first opening day. Matt Albers will deal with George Springer here in Albert's second inning of work. What's the story you have for us on your first opening day?
Well, we were just talking about, and you heard it in Joe's voice, how excited he was. He was calling home, telling his family, his friends, and it's a big deal.
Sure.
And I explained that every opening day was an amazing time. So I came into the league in 1999, halfway through the season. So 2000 was my first opening day roster, but there was no guarantee I was going to be on the team in spring. So I went in, I competed for the utility job, started playing a little bit of third base and outfield, and they start making cuts. They don't cut me. We get down to the last cut. I don't get cut. And it's getaway day. And I have not heard from Felipe Alou.
Bullet up the middle. Base hit for Springer. He now has back-to-back singles.
I don't hear from Felipe Alou. And I start asking some guys, I'm like, hey, man, did Skip talk to you? Are you on the team? What are you doing? And these are veteran guys. They're like, of course I'm on the team. What do you mean?
You have no idea.
So I'm asking around, and everybody's like, well, you got to ask the manager. And I'm like, I'm not going in there. Because if I go in there, that opens the opportunity for him to tell me to go home.
Right.
So I kept my mouth shut, and I packed my bags. I showed up with a suit. I got on the plane. Nobody said anything.
Come on.
I get off the plane. We're in Montreal. I didn't know I was on that roster until they announced my name to go running on the field.
Felipe never called you in.
Never.
That's bizarre.
I had to call my mom after the game and be like, hey, I'm in the big leagues.
That is bizarre. Wow. Felipe just didn't think it was necessary. You must have had that good a spring, huh?
I guess. I could have fooled me, but, you want to have that confirmation.
Toss to first, and Springer dives back in. That's funny. I think I'm on the team. Nobody's told me I'm not.
And the first
Were
time.
you guys open at home?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they had us running out of the stands and stuff to line up, and I'm like, am I sure? Am I supposed to go here?
Out back by DH Alex Bregman.
And I wasn't in the starting lineup. There was only two times I was in the starting lineup on opening day. First time was 2003 at third base for the Houston Astros. The second time I did it, I'm not sure if it was 2008 or 9, but Lance Berkman had knee surgery in spring training and didn't make it back, and I actually got an opening day start at first base for the Houston Astros.
Yeah, just something special. It's usually a sellout, and
the
atmosphere,
unbelievable. Yeah.
and especially when you come any season, everybody's excited. Especially when you come into a season with some expectations, and both of these teams, Washington and Houston, have high expectations for 2017. 2-1 pitches away. It's 3-1. Nationals basically changed their whole team in the last half inning.
Yeah, I just basically threw my defensive roster out.
There's a strike to Bregman. The count runs full. Bregman looking for his first hit. He has grounded out 3 times, the last time on a fielder's choice. Yeah, not one starter is still in the game for the Nationals. There goes Springer. Ground ball left side. Defoe, the shortstop, will make the throw across. And Alex Bregman retired. About opening day, Blummer.
It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. Monday, April 3rd on Root Sports. Obviously, we're going to be an hour-long pregame. Guys back in the studio got their work cut out for them. Coverage is going to begin at 6 p.m. Central, Houston time, of course. Look inside Minute Maid Park upgrades. Obviously, the most impressive one's going to be what is going on out there in center field. We've seen some sneak peeks about it, but there's going to be a big unveiling that we can't wait to see. And, of course, the final 25-man roster will be introduced.
There's a couple of spots still up for grabs. Kind of one plus spot today. A.J. Hinch hinted that Brad Peacock without options was likely to be one of the guys of those 4 on the team. It's between Dion Diaz, Yandel Gustave, and James Hoyt. It's basically going to go down to the final day. All those guys will go to Minute Maid Park in Houston for the 2-game set against the Chicago Cubs. And A.J. realizes it's not a fun time for any of those guys. It's a nerve.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons he told Joe Musgrove so far in advance.
Yeah. And to get their mind right, get their workout routine right. And there's a look at some of the guys that are vying. Dion Diaz has just jumped onto that list, pitching so well in spring training, but Brad Peacock is the guy out of options. Those two guys in the middle are basically competing for that one spot. But you read some of the news, and Tony Sipp sat out the other day with a back injury. Is that enough to keep him away for a little bit?
They're hoping to see Sipp here tomorrow. He was originally going to pitch yesterday's game, but back flared up on him a little bit, so they're hoping to see him tomorrow. And he needs a couple of solid outings to get the confidence right going into the opening day.
Yeah, and a lot of what happens in the last maybe week or so of spring training is to kind of boost the confidence of those guys that are going to be on the roster, no matter if they're an infielder, outfielder, bullpen guy, or starter. You want to have them having a very good feeling moving into opening day.
Carlos Correa walked his last time up. He is also grounded out and struck out. Correa getting his first start, coming back from the WBC, fouls one back. It's 0-1. You can see Yuli Gurriel waiting on deck. Astros have pretty much their entire starting lineup still in there. Astros have no one from their starting lineup still in there. Today, Josh Reddick played left field. We may see Carlos Beltran get a game out in left before the Grapefruit League is over. 1-1 the count to Correa. Carlos feeling better. Felt a little bit under the weather coming back from L.A. Sat out yesterday. Pitch away. It's 2-1. Ball well hit down the left field line, but it is foul.
Man, that thing disappeared into the afternoon.
Yeah, I kind of lost it off the bat. There are more kids playing in the grass berm area in left field than I've seen in any spring training game today. I mean, there's all kinds of games going on. You got to love the fact that they're all protected. There's a net there, so any line drives down the line, they're okay. And there are kids everywhere just having a good time.
Spring breaking out there.
Oh, by the way, there's a baseball game going on behind us.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Kind of inside out. Correa on the half swing gets thrown out by Drew, and that'll do it. 7th inning stretch time here at the ballpark of the Palm Beaches, with the Astros leading the Nationals by the score of 5-1.
West Palm, it's spring break for a couple of big egos out there. Astros down or leading 5-1 over the Nationals. Cheer on the Astros in the loudest and most energetic part of the ballpark for every Friday night home game, the Stro Zone. Sit in the Stro Zone and get a unique t-shirt along with a custom H-Town foam hand. Visit astros.com/strozone now to purchase your tickets.
Seventh inning baseball. One of the heroes of the World Baseball Classic, Luke Gregerson, on for the Astros. First game he has pitched since winning the gold medal for Team USA. And he'll face Clint Robinson here to start things off. Luke was outstanding in the WBC. 4 games, 4 innings, no hits. 1 walk, 3 saves. He saved a game against Venezuela with Jose Altuve, the Dominican Republic, and also Japan with Noriaoki. And he had the team mascot brought in, the eagle.
Great call.
He had everything. He was a guy who had been to the WBC before. Talked to him briefly today, and he said it was completely different this year from the very start. The attendance, the atmosphere, the intensity was completely different than the last WBC.
It's interesting. I wonder why that was.
Well, one of the things he said was that the matchup with the Dominican last time did not have the crowd, did not have the energy. And we saw Tanner Roark here yesterday pitch for Washington. He said that's the loudest he's ever heard a stadium, and Gregerson agreed. He's never heard a stadium that loud in his career. So he said the U.S. Dominican matchup 4 years ago in 2013 did not have the same intensity as that game, and he said that kind of set the tone, and everything else, every game was so huge. The game against Puerto Rico, the game against Venezuela, rematch with Dominican, rematch with Puerto Rico, it just kept building. And Jim Leland, to his credit, told Luke, you're my guy. I have a lot of good relievers in the bullpen, but you're the guy I want to finish out games for Team USA.
What an incredible honor. It's good to see guys get those opportunities and run with it too, but Luke has done a good job out of that closer role for the Houston Astros also.
If anybody else from Team USA is watching, they'll be proud to know that the eagle is displayed prominently in the Astros clubhouse.
It has landed in the clubhouse
with the gold medal around its neck.
It is beautiful. How about the genius to have all those guys sign it?
Really cool.
Wow.
What a good moment. What a great moment for Luke and his family. Able to enjoy it with him out there in Dodger Stadium. I mean, he was pretty much untouchable. He was making some of the best hitters in the world look really bad. And hopefully that carries over to what could be a very interesting 2017 for Luke as he's pitching here in the 7th. And he makes Michael Taylor look really bad. There's a guy hitting 400 in the spring and 3 pitches and out.
We look at tendencies on pitchers to try and see what they're throwing, but Gregerson to right-handers could basically tell them that he is going to throw a slider because it's close to 75% of the time you're going to see that from him. But he has a couple of different breaks. He throws it at different speeds, but there's such a late break. It seems that every time you see a guy start his swing is when that ball starts to break away from the barrel.
You're right. Especially you mentioned the percentages. Whenever he gets to 2 strikes, the percentages are off the charts.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It really is. He's a guy that can telegraph and say, hey, guess what? I'm going to throw you a slider here, and you're still not going to be able to do anything with it. 1-0 the count to the catcher, Jonathan Solano. Jonathan Solano has one of those batting averages that you have to look twice and say, is that real? He's hitting .611 this spring. He's 11 for 18.
That's even good in Williamsport.
Yeah, wiffle ball.
Man.
That's a good wiffle ball average.
Take it.
So you've got the guy coming off the greatest WBC against the guy who's got a .611 batting average, and it's now 1-2 on Solano.
Are you saying he's finally getting a true test?
He's getting a true test. And this is the count. Speaking of 1-2 count against a righty is almost always a slider. And Luke he just got him on a slider there. Let's see what he goes with here. Oh, that's a fastball. So there you go. Mixed it up. Upstairs, it's 2-2.
But was it with purpose? Because it's elevated up out of the zone, raised the eye level a little bit, and now you throw that low breaking away dart that he has and maybe get the swing and miss. See what he does.
Trying to get a .600 hitter in the Grapefruit League. In the air to right center field. Marisnick going back, and he is there. Hat flies off, and that'll end the inning. So we're through 7, and it's 5-1 Astros.
Day here in West Palm Beach. We move to the 8-5-1 Astros. Stay connected to Astros baseball all season long with the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Customize the app for the Astros all spring, plus get the app's best features all season long by subscribing to at-bat premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Download MLB.com at-bat today, the #1 app for live Astros baseball. A lot of young talent, a lot of prospects to still be excited about. Those names at the top right there, guys. I know you're just dying to break these two down, but we've got a chance to see them a couple of times this spring, and I'm looking forward to seeing these guys at the big league level one day.
Got some talent right there. You're right. Francis Martez, we saw him earlier in the camp, and then we saw him on the backfield the other day. In that game Colin McHugh pitched. Kyle Tucker was also playing in that game. He had a chance to bat in the big league spring training games. David Paulino's been injured recently, and then A.J. Reed still has the most home runs and tied for the team lead in RBIs this spring. The other two names that aren't on that chart but might be breaking their way into the top 100 from what we saw this spring, Derek Fisher and J.D. Davis.
No doubt. It's a good call.
Those guys,
some good ball players out there to keep those guys off the list.
Yeah, those guys were the 4 from the Astros in the top 100, but there is some talent throughout the system as Joe Nathan delivers a strike to Yuli Gurriel, 0-1.
I think one of the more interesting names to me personally on that list was at number 20, Vlad Guerrero Jr.
How about that? You seen his swing?
Yes, and I've
Papa.
seen it for years. I met him when he was just a little bowling ball.
I was going to say, you remember that there's a great picture of him and his dad from Montreal out on the field. So you were there when he was just a toddler, huh?
Yep. We were messing around with him on the field, rolling him ground balls, soft tossing to him. He had pop back when he was 2-3 years old.
Ground ball towards Mario Lisson, and on the backhand his throw got away at first, so Gurriel lives and he will be replaced by a pinch runner and his day will be over.
Well, let's talk about defense. Lisson actually could have taken at least one more step and maybe got himself in a better position to make a strong throw with Yuli running.
So Gurriel's day is over. He ends up getting a base hit on that. It's a 2-for-4 day for Yuli Gurriel. Taylor Jones is the pinch runner over at first base. He's getting his first spring training action of the season. And Juan Centeno is the batter at the plate. Speaking of Montreal, you debuted in '99.
Yes.
That was the first year Joe Nathan pitched in a major league game.
He's still going.
He is still going at age 42. Nathan started with the Giants back in '99 and pitched with them till '03. If Nathan makes a major league roster, he will be one of 4 that made their major league debut before the year 2000 that are still active. So you got the potential of Nathan. He could join a guy who's on the Astros team, Carlos Beltran. The other two guys, guy in the AL West, and sometimes you don't think about him because he's only 37, but he debuted as a young Dodger.
Beltre.
Adrian Beltre. And then the last guy is not the most athletic looking pitcher, but he still can hit home runs occasionally. Up the middle off of Nathan. He's going to get some help from his defense as Stephen Drew tags the runner, Jones, and gets the double play. Julia?
Todd, I'm taking it back to that list you guys put up, talking Francis Martes. You know, one of my favorite things about spring training is early getting to sit in and watch some of these bullpens, which is what I did. Might have been this particular day. We have video when Roy Oswalt was in camp and really working with Martes that day. Specifically on the slider, I remember, I mean, I was sitting Indian style, taking it all in like I was getting ready to pitch, you know, just wanting to hear what Roy was telling him. But really interesting stuff from Roy, and he would know, I mean, teaching him more of how to pitch, don't just throw. And so there was a lot of ways why use this pitch when you could use this pitch, and using pitches together and all that he was trying to take in that day from one of the greatest to do it. Was really impressive stuff. So I'm sure that Martes might have been maybe overwhelmed at times with all the information he got in big league camp. It'll certainly help him once he gets back up to this level.
Ramon Laureano swings and fouls one away. When you watch Martes, you can see just the pure stuff.
Yeah, looks like a big league pitcher.
He looks, doesn't he?
Yeah. He has the stuff to go with it, but again, if you have good stuff and you have the talent to pitch in the big leagues or play in the big leagues, you don't necessarily have all the answers. It's good to hear it from an all-star type guy like Roy Oswalt, who says you still have to pitch even with as good a stuff as Roy Oswalt had. So when you hear it from a guy like that, or a Roger Clemens or a Nolan Ryan, it carries a lot of weight.
1-2 the count on Ramon Laureano, playing left field in place of Josh Reddick. Oh, Nathan trying to make this Nationals team. He was with Mike Maddox, who's a pitching coach of the Nationals back when he was with Texas. Nathan's had 2 Tommy John surgeries in his career.
And Bartolo Colon is the other guy you were talking about.
Yeah, Bartolo Colon with the Braves now.
Yeah, still going.
So you got Colon, Beltre, Beltran, and possibly Nathan as the 4 remaining active players who made their major league debut in the 1900s.
That's pretty special.
There's not many left, and there's not many guys who played for the Expos. We'll have that listed another day. Here's a ball up the middle into center field for a base hit for Laureano, so he's a 2-out base runner. Yeah, that list is dwindling too.
Sure is.
You had a good time there, didn't you?
I did have a good time there.
Yeah.
I owe a lot to the Expos organization. And now that, being on the media side, we get to see a lot of scouts. Jim Beattie, I saw him the other day, and he's a scout now, I believe, for the Blue Jays, but he was a GM. Him and Bill Stoneman were GMs and for the Montreal Expos when I got called up. So there is some history there. But the Expos, a lot of people called it the University of Montreal, where you spend some time in Montreal before you'd get plucked out of there and go to some other ball clubs, much like I did. But I did enjoy it.
Big swing by J.D. Davis, fouls it back. J.D. having himself a camp. We heard from Jeff Luno a little bit earlier, who has really been impressed by this guy. A.J. Hinch has mentioned this guy numerous times. You see his numbers at Corpus Christi. This spring hitting .350 in big league camp. Home runs, 6 runs batted in, 7 runs scored. And Jeff wasn't sure where he would start, but he was very impressed and saying at least at the start he may go to Double-A, just because there may not be enough at bats with what could be a very packed lineup at Triple-A Fresno.
That's a hard thing for a guy to do, have a successful spring, get noticed, get the recognition, and then have to go back to the same level you were at last year and be expected to perform. Mentally, that's probably the hardest thing.
Hopefully it will be a short stay for JD. That time he chases the Nathan breaking ball in the dirt as he was down in the count, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 8th. 2 hits, no runs.
And it's great to see the Astros ahead 5-1 over the Nationals here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And we've got time now for what a burger, what a play, or it should be what a plays. George Springer out there in that familiar right field corner, plays it off the wall, shows off the hose, gunning down Jason Worth at second base. And then here again, never stopping, even in spring training, to go out there and try and pick his pitchers up. Makes a great play on Ryan Zimmerman's pop-up in foul territory.
So we head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. It will be Will Harris on the mound. Chance for him to throw in back-to-back games. Pitched a very efficient game yesterday, 1-2-3 inning. See Harris's numbers last year, also appeared in an all-star game.
Very effective out of that bullpen, and we're seeing an interesting bullpen for A.J. Hinch in this spring game. He has basically 3 closers out there. Depends on how he's feeling on how to use those guys, but it lined up to where Ken Giles came in earlier, followed up by Luke Gregerson, and now you get a chance to take a look at Will Harris. And like Todd was talking about throwing back-to-back days, we talk about starting pitchers being stretched out, throwing multiple innings. One thing you want to know about your bullpen is, are they ready to go back-to-back days?
He'll get a pretty strong stick to face, and the first batter he looks at him, Matt Wieters, getting a pinch hit here. Wieters batting in the pitcher spot. Started yesterday's game. Signed late into the winter. In fact, spring training had already started when Wieters signed with the Nationals, so he's trying to get at bats where he can find them. 1 ball and 1 strike. Will Harris getting his first chance to go back-to-back. Ken Giles went back-to-back today for the first time. He pitched on a backfield yesterday. Giles ended up going an inning today. No hits, 1 walk. Pitch down low to Wieters. Switch hitting catcher signed by the Nationals to a 2-year deal. Had a little injury to the wrist this offseason, which also got him a late start getting ready for 2017. Shot foul. Since the first inning, pitching has really been locked down for the Astros. Musgrove, as you heard his interview with Julian Morales earlier in this game, said he had a little bit of trouble with command in that first inning, but after that first inning, he allowed a leadoff double to Adam Eaton, then worked through the next 12 hitters in minimum fashion, had 1 base hit during that time, and that was erased by George Springer on a great throw to second base. Wieters called out on strikes. Will Harris starts his day with a strikeout. Now the top of the order, and Wilmer Defoe is the batter. So I've been looking at former Expos that are still playing. I definitely found one, Bartolo Colon, but Tomo Oka signed a minor league deal in the offseason, so I'm trying to look to see where he is, because that could be the second former Expo. He's been out of baseball for a while.
Played with him in Montreal.
I figured he was one of your teammates. The Orioles signed him to a minor league deal back in December, but I haven't seen much on him recently. Pitch is a called strike to Defoe.
Told him his American name was Tom.
Tom Oka.
Yeah, keep it easy. Tomo, Tom.
See what Defoe did last year in 31 games. Kind of an outside shot to make this team. He's a highly touted prospect in the Nationals organization, and that's also, you know, one of the issues. Do you want one of your highly touted prospects to get ABs at AAA, or be kind of a guy who gets 1 or 2 starts a week at the big league level?
Yeah, that's the toughest thing. If they don't have a place to go out there and get those ABs every day, that's a decision that needs to be made.
Harris with a high fastball that Defoe chases. Will Harris, just like yesterday, coming in and throwing strikes and picking up outs. That's 2 quick strikeouts. So 2 outs and nobody aboard. And Stephen Drew will get his first at bat. Back with you tomorrow for a night game against the Cardinals. 4:30 pregame show. And a breaking ball from Harris for a called strike.
I was traded in spring training from Montreal to Houston in 2002 for Chris Truby.
What part of spring training?
March 12th. We had just played maybe a handful of games.
That's weird. That's a strange time to get traded.
Yeah. Did not see that coming at all. The GM at the time was Omar Minaya of the Montreal Expos, and as he explained it to me, I remember it vividly. He said, we have a chance to trade for an everyday third baseman, so we're trading you to Houston.
That
I said, hey, do what you got to do.
Wow.
And I was on my way to Houston, and I just
you had a
drove up
place in West Palm.
Yep. My girlfriend, who was soon to be my wife at the time, was on her. She was 2 days away from flying out. I had to, reroute her and buy a new ticket.
Get her to Orlando, Kissimmee?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unusual to get traded in the middle of spring training. So now you're going in. Guys have been around for almost a month, and you're shaking hands with new teammates in the middle of the spring.
Yeah. Hey, new guy.
Hey, new guy. 2-2 the count to Drew. There are some deals that are done towards the end of the spring, but middle of spring is a little more unusual. There's a called third strike. How about the inning for Will Harris? Strikes out the side. 6 up, 6 down, and back-to-back outings the last 2 days. We're through 8. It's 5-1 Stros. Astros leading the Nationals 5-1. Kick off your weekends during Friday night home games at Minute Maid Park with the best fireworks show in town. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Kansas City will be the opponent for that first Friday night fireworks. Seattle in for 4, and then Kansas City for 3 as we head to the 9th inning. Astros have taken the lead 5-1 back in the 4th inning, and the score has remained the same ever since. Solid pitching by Houston throughout. And now they will face the right-hander Joe Blanton, who appeared with the Los Angeles Dodgers last year. Pitched in 75 games for the Dodgers and had quite a year. 7-2 with a 2.48 ERA.
Kind of reinvented himself coming out of that bullpen with that good slider.
Jake Marisnick will be the first batter he faces. Swings and fouls one away. Marisnick hit a home run his first time up. That was the first run scored against the starter Gio Gonzalez. Gonzalez lasted 5 innings, would allow 4 more runs in the 4th. High fastball, it's 1-1. Three batters in this inning due up for the Astros have all played the full game. Marisnick, Springer on deck. Alex Bregman due up third. Everybody else of the starters out of the game for Houston. And a swing and a miss. Blanton gets Marisnick for the first out here in the 9th. Sure, Joe Blanton will be interested after this game to watch a little basketball. He's a University of Kentucky guy. Kentucky plays North Carolina with a chance to get to the Final Four. That will be the final spot of the teams heading to Phoenix.
West Coast getting represented.
How about it?
Yeah, Gonzaga, Oregon Ducks.
Zags and the Ducks so far in the Final Four. Florida Gators are playing South Carolina right now in the battle of SEC teams. The Gators are up 5 in the second half. Springer takes a called strike. George has a couple of back-to-back hits, 2 for 4 in the game. He's getting a lot of ABs this spring. This will be his 62nd at-bat, by far the most on the Houston roster. Called strike, it's 1-2. Will Harris looks like he's ready for opening day,
which is a good sign. We televised a couple games early March, and he came out of one game with a little bit of a tweak in the groin. And as a pitcher, when you're pushing off and using that, those muscles and ligaments as harshly as those guys do, you're a little concerned. But seems to have bounced back quite nicely. It looks great.
Struck out the side in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Springer sends one to center. Taylor takes care of it. So George's day is done at 2 for 5. And then I'll bring up the DH Alex Bregman. I wonder if any veterans have said to the young DH, when you designated hit, you're supposed to pick up a hit, because Alex is still looking for his first knock today.
Well, it's all in the name. You're a designated hitter. Got to go out there and get those knocks.
If you're just joining us, we're not just picking on the young LSU product. AJ Hinch told us that he made sure he texted his veterans to let them know, hey, the DH spot's going to the 22-year-old today.
Which is a rarity.
So Alex had to wear that in the clubhouse all day with the veterans giving him a hard time. And he's down in the count to Joe Blanton, 0-2.
And we talk about guys like a George Springer, who at this point in spring training are pretty much ready to go for the regular season. Alex Bregman is on the other side of the spectrum. He's still trying to get his legs back under him after having his spring training interrupted by leading the WBC in high fives.
Like AJ said, there's been talk about trying to get him extra ABs, and if you did that, you might look at the backfields and minor league games where you can basically play by your own rules and start a guy leading off every inning. But AJ said he'd prefer for Bregman to get his ABs against guys that are going to be on big league rosters, or at least guys who have been in the past. So that's why he wants to see him in these spring training games and not working the extra at bats on the backfields. Counts 1-2. Now, if we get down to the wire and Alex still feels like he's out of sorts, maybe there on a late day right before you head to Houston, maybe then you get him on the backfields and get him 8 or 10 at bats, kind of what the Pirates did with Josh Harrison after he didn't get many ABs for the Team USA. Called third strike, wide zone today. We've seen that before as Bregman goes down looking. So we head to the bottom of the 9th. It's still 5-1 Astros. Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Advocare. We build champions. And the Astros trying to hold on to a 5-1 lead this afternoon after losing 4-1 yesterday to these Nationals. If they win today, the spring training season series will end up 4-3 in favor of the Nats. James Hoyt on as the new pitcher for the Astros. There is the big right-hander. Trying to finish this one out. The Nationals only have 4 hits against Houston pitching today. 2 of those hits came back in the first inning, and another one was to lead off the second as you take a look at what Hoyt did last year.
Some decent numbers. Take a look at that whip. You want to see that right around 1.01, but I like that number below it, the 203 batting average against. Unfortunately, some of the hits he did give up went out of the yard, but I think James Hoyt was trying to find himself a little bit last year. When he got back to the fastball split-fingered mix is when he became successful again. And that split fingers makes him appealing because it is a good pitch to left-handed hitters out.
Well, you saw the graphic earlier about the guys battling the last spot in the bullpen. James Hoyt's ability to get lefties out would be vital for him if he is to make this team. It's down to him and Yandel Gustave and Dayan Diaz. He will face Chris Heisey as the first batter. Heisey's down on the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Miles Straw's into the game now in right field, so George Springer gets 5 at bats and leaves. Jake Marisnick finishes the game. Saw Taylor Jones pinch run. He's over at first, and Mott Hyde's at second. Reed Brignac at short. Those are the other guys we haven't seen get an AB. As you take a look at James Hoyt.
Good split, getting the check swing from Heisey. We talked about the splits versus left-handers and right-handers. Against lefties, that average at 212. Right-handers had a tough time going under 200 with that batting average at a $196.
Away, it's 2-2. Final afternoon game on Root Sports this spring. Our next day game will be 2 weeks from today, April 9th, when the Royals finish out a homestand against the Astros on a Sunday afternoon.
Is tomorrow night a 7:05 start or a 6:05?
6:05 local.
Yes.
5:05 Central. 4:30 pregame show.
Dinner time.
A little early,
baseball.
Earlier start. You said you had a radio game earlier this year, so you've seen a night game here. Tomorrow I'll get a chance to see the ballpark of the Palm Beaches under the lights for the first time.
Went pretty good. The lights came on.
That's all that matters. Swing and a miss. James Hoyt gets a strikeout. That's now 4 in a row via strikeout for the Astros bullpen. Harris struck out the side in the 8th. James Hoyt gets Heisey.
Strikeouts aplenty. See the bottom drop out of that pitch from James Hoyt. Heisey swinging over the top. Jeff Luhnow talking about the swing and miss abilities of pitchers are appealing. Got to have that pitch. Got to be able to get to the 2-strike count and then have a pitch you can go to get that swing and miss.
Hoyt appeared in 22 games last year. As you take a look at Mario Lisson. Lisson came over as the third baseman, took over, I should say, for Anthony Rendon. In those 22 games, a 4.5 ERA for James, but in September, 12 games and an ERA of 3. Had 2 stints with the Astros early August until basically the middle of the month, and then when rosters expanded again in September. Pitch down low, it's 2-1. Hitting starts for the Astros today include Jake Marisnick with a solo home run, Marwin Gonzalez with his first home run of the spring, a 2-run shot. Josh Reddick had an RBI against the lefty today. Yuli Gurriel also with an RBI double. Jose Altuve on base a couple of times, and George Springer with 2 hits today. 9 hits, 5 runs for the Stros, 4 hits, 1 run for the Nationals. That knocked the headset off right by her camera.
Heads up, Julia. If she's not napping already.
Thank goodness there was no interview going on at the time. Julia, you okay? She may be napping.
What? Are y'all talking to me?
That knocked off the headset.
I know.
Make sure you're okay down there.
I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm very protected back here. Lots of netting.
Are you in the shade?
Of course.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
Of course I'm in the shade.
no, Todd is new to this, and he's going to learn very quickly that if there is shade to be seen or be hidden in,
Or
she will find it.
Or I'll find one of those umbrellas that I can hook to my chair.
So you are always protected from the sun. Good for you.
She
Good
is
for the
better.
skin. I'm a redhead.
You look, but you're kind of tucked down in there. You can see the game okay? You can see the game right?
I've got a monitor.
I got you.
I mean, the precautions we take at this ballpark to keep her safe.
Yeah, you've got no chance of being hit there.
No.
The netting is unbelievable down there.
It would take a top spin ground ball somehow over the top of that railing. Brignac bobbles, recovers in time to get Lisson for the second out.
Perseverance by Brignac to stay with that ground ball and get the out.
So 2 outs, bases cleared. The veteran Adam Lynn is the batter for Washington. We will see Colin McHugh tomorrow in the game
kind of
against
exciting.
the Cardinals. Yeah, first spring training start on the big league field. Colin's been pitching on the back fields against minor leaguers. Saw his dad out here at the game the other day.
Yep. It's kind of cool. Meet the parents. I
Yeah.
mean, they're invested in these kids. They like going out and watching them play.
And it doesn't sound like Colin's that far away if he starts the season on the DL.
I think, well, that's what's exciting about it, is that if he does well tomorrow and comes off and rebounds, obviously I want to see how quickly the shoulder bounces back. But yeah, that is a very good sign, and that's what's exciting, is he may be closer than we even think.
Because let's be frank, when you pitch on the backfields, part of it is we just not sure where you are in your recovery. Let's get you some innings where we can control the situation. Now they're putting him out there against the Cardinals team. They'll probably have a lot of their A players here tomorrow.
Yeah, Jupiter just up the road. It's not too hard to convince those veterans to come down and get some ABs.
College.
I'm sorry, and this is the part of spring where as a hitter you want to see big league starting pitching.
Yeah. So Colin McHugh scheduled to get the start tomorrow, about 3 or 4 innings. We'll also see the local product Brad Peacock. There's a fair ball down the line. That'll go for extra bases. Past the diving Taylor Jones, played back in by Miles Straw, and a double for Adam Lynn with 2 outs. Lynn in a little bit of a battle for a roster spot, but he has the advantage over Clint Robinson, who's the hitter now for the Nationals. Both guys bring similar things to a team. Left-hand hitter who can play mostly first base. Also occasional outfield play. Lynn, a veteran, spending most of his time with the Toronto Blue Jays. Here is his competition, Clint Robinson.
Well, and a good time for AJ to watch James Hoyt pitching out of the bullpen, too. You're seeing Adam Lynn, a left-handed hitter. He got the first 2 right-handers, and Heisey and Lisson out. First left-hander he faces, doubles off him. But now you back him up with Clint Robinson, see if he can pitch out of the jam against a left-hander.
These are the kind of things, as Hoyt is well aware of, that are going to determine whether he starts the year at AAA Fresno or with the big league team. And when it comes down to the final decision, every at-bat huge, pitch in the dirt. Centeno can't smother it, and Lynn moves to third on the wild pitch.
And even if everybody is healthy on the Astros roster, there is only one left-hander out there, and it's Tony Sipp. So there's got to be somebody else. You can't throw Tony Sipp every night against Robinson Cano in key situations. You got to have a right-hander that's able to spell Tony Sipp and give him a break.
On the ground, fair ball, gloved by Jones, and that'll do it. The Astros win it 5-1 as Taylor Jones makes the play unassisted for the final out of this game. Clint Robinson with the ground out. So a 4-run fourth, the difference in this one as the Astros win it 5-1 against the Washington Nationals. Back with more after this from the ballpark of the Palm Beaches.